I just wish maybe like the window opened,
It would be, yeah. Or it would, like slightly bigger. I can't really see the window. There's a
Right.
TV if I look that way. It's behind me.
Just a little fresh air. Might be the nicest day of the year.
Hot take right off. Nicest summer of all time.
Huh.
Now,
Been
somebody's
hot.
probably going to tell me something else, but
I would tell you my perspective on that changed. I was against you as of a week ago, but I personally fixed my car air conditioner. Changed my whole outlook on the summer. I'm back in. I'm back in on the summer.
oh
hope it
yeah, I
never
could
ends.
see not enjoying the sun and the heat if I didn't have AC.
It was like half.
Did you do it
working.
yourself? Did you get the little can, connect it?
I didn't do that. I just want to thank YouTube. All the people on YouTube that teach people like me how to fix things.
Oh yeah.
They deserve Nobel Peace Prizes.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. Incredible.
And
Like,
it's not as hard as you think, a lot of the stuff.
I could have never owned a house or a car before YouTube. I guess I did have a car, but
I actually replaced an AC blower in my kid's truck a couple weeks ago.
get your hands greasy, get
Well,
in there.
I looked on YouTube, like you're saying, and it was like 2 bolts.
Yep.
2 bolts and a plug. And I'm
Yep.
like, even I can't screw up 2 bolts and a plug. And then I ordered it on Amazon plug. And if you bought the knockoff one, it was like 10% of if you bought the original
Oh, yeah.
Honda one.
Oh God, you can't buy the OEM parts. Earlier this year, my blower wasn't blowing at all. I bought the
problem.
the relay. It was like $14. If
Oh,
I went
yeah.
to a guy, all due respect to the guys out there, you would have charged me $280, $300 because that's what it costs to do business.
That's right.
I saved a little money. So anyways, I'm back on. You might be right about this being nice. There's no bad weather this summer.
So it's a beautiful Saturday, and Hurley's stuck inside with me. I'm assuming it's beautiful in Seattle, and really, Devin Witherspoon doesn't care what the weather is. It can be raining for all he cares because he just reset the cornerback market. We've been talking about him and his negotiations with the Seahawks all along, and now we have numbers. He just signed a 4-year, $132 million contract with 101.
101, which is only $1 million more guaranteed than McDuffie.
And that now, tick, 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 sets the clock because we've said that Christian Gonzalez, who has the same agent, you needed to wait for Witherspoon to do it, although there was some ominous language in Adam Schefter's tweet who said there hasn't been much progress.
But doesn't that make sense? I mean, this was what they were waiting for.
Right, now they can start.
Right.
Well, Andrew Brandt, the former Packers GM who always says deadline spur action or whatever it
Sure.
is. So now you've kind of like had a reason to spur action. You're not just doing a dance with Devin Witherspoon. So we're going to start here, 617-779-0985. How you feeling about Christian Gonzalez, who was not physically available for the joint practices, Mike Vrabel tells us? Not physically available? Does that mean he's hurt, or does that mean he didn't show up so he wasn't physically available to practice?
Really, I didn't even think of it that way. Physically unavailable could mean a number of things.
Yeah.
If I didn't show up today, I would have been physically unavailable to
Right.
do this radio show with you. I didn't really believe him Thursday night. He just seemed a little pissed off about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Vrabel was not into, when you're a head coach or the CEO, you've got to be the representative of the organization. He was a little emotional Thursday night, mad at the kicker, seemed mad about the Gonzalez thing, was just kind of grumpy overall. So I think you got some honesty there. But he came out today and said the same thing, that he's, going through the... In my opinion, Andy, if he is really hurt and can't practice, well, that might be worse than a hold-in. That's a situation. You're telling me,
Guy's always hurt.
as you're negotiating for $100 million guaranteed, more than that, obviously, you're hurt for a second straight camp.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go out there. You can practice all summer, and then when the other team comes in, you're like, I'm hurt. I'm not saying he's injury prone, but if I'm the Patriots and I'm negotiating this contract, that's literally the only mark against Gonzalez you can make. Unavailable for most of your rookie year, missed 3 games your third year, now you're hurt again, and we're just going to give you this contract. I feel like if he's really hurt, that's going to be more of a complication than anything else that's happened this summer.
So what was your immediate reaction? Because it was a couple hours ago. I want to thank them. We don't often get breaking news, new news on a Saturday. You're kind of talking about what went on during the week. I want to thank them out in Seattle for doing this contract. But what was your immediate reaction?
It made sense that there was a significant jump. You went from 31.1 to 33. So almost a $2 million jump, which makes sense. And that sort of is in line with what Curran was talking about there, or I think it was that clip, but where you're projecting it out. You don't want this contract to be obsolete immediately, which is, Denzel Ward's is now obsolete. McDuffie's was quickly obsolete. Like, everyone's sort of getting one-upped. I think Patrick Surtain being the biggest one. He was the highest paid cornerback in history, got a record deal. That was 2 years ago. He's now the 8th highest paid cornerback in the NFL.
And almost universally considered the best.
Yes. So I understand, and this doesn't completely safeguard against that, but it gives you a little bit more runway than the previous guys that were just one-upping each other by 100,000 or a million. The question is, what is Gonzalez looking for? Is it just to be more right now? Because if so, give him 34, 35, and you're done.
Seems easy, right? Just, we're done here.
34, 35, and then come next year, if you got to trade him, you can still trade him. If he's down the line, he's going to look underpaid the way Patrick Surtain is now. Is that what he wants? And that's the question, because he has kept it tight. There's been no leaks. There's been little dribs and drabs. You saw Bedard the other day sort of throw out that percentage of the cap thing.
Yeah, we need to get into that.
You had Tom Curran sort of reporting, sort of speculating on what he's looking for, saying he doesn't want it to be obsolete and thus is wanting to be treated like a free agent in 27 or 28 right now, which is not how it works. So what you are hearing makes Gonzalez sound ridiculous. We don't know if that's true. If he comes out and just wants $1 million more than Witherspoon, done. Get it done. Move on. Play football, forget about it.
I don't want to dabble too much into the math world, but Greg Bedard threw out a number, 18% of the cap. 18%, I just ran the numbers, of a $330 million salary cap is $59 million a year. That's a lot of talk about a jump.
Yeah, that's what that's where Drake May starts.
That's probably the floor of Drake May.
Outside of that, though,
that's ridiculous. That's way more than receivers and pass rushers and all these people are getting right now. So I can't imagine it's that, but you're right. One of the issues we have is we don't really know what Christian Gonzalez wants. If he just wants to do the normal NFL game where the latest guy to sign is the highest paid, then it seems like this should be a relatively quick, you're on the clock, Patriots, go do the deal.
And the fact that the guarantee wasn't crazy. The guarantee was 101. If you give
102.
Some people have speculated Gonzalez starts at 110.
Okay, so if that's the issue, or he is thinking about, I don't want this to be obsolete in 2 years, then this contract's kind of irrelevant, right? If he's asking to reset the market, to look at the market differently than most of these guys in recent years have looked at it, then this is not a measuring stick, because he doesn't want to be held to the measuring stick, because he thinks that Devin Witherspoon's going to be underpaid in a year and a half or 2 years.
Right.
So this contract is not, he's like, this is not a comp for me. I'm telling you, this is not a comp for me. I want to do new business.
Which would be out of line, I believe, because do I think Gonzalez is better than Witherspoon? Yeah, but Witherspoon has the same, they both have 1 second-team All-Pro. Witherspoon has 3 Pro Bowls to Gonzalez's 1, and I know Pro Bowls is, not as useful, not very valuable, but he was a higher pick, and he's a damn good player. So, is Gonzalez better? I think so, but I don't think he is in another planet than Devin Witherspoon. And I think the thing, when I was saying earlier, the Patriots should just get it done, that alone sounds ridiculous given the history of the organization when it comes to doling out top-of-the-market contracts. But you just look at what's happened to all... If we had this conversation 2 months ago, I think only 3 2023 first-rounders had signed that extension. Now we're into what? 15. It's like half of everyone that's getting one except for Gonzalez has gotten one.
So we are starting with Christian Gonzalez. He is not signed. He's not on the practice field, was not today. Mike Vrabel said he's physically not available, which I have questions about. Is that due to some hard fall, ankle, leg injury, or is that physically unavailable because he didn't show up? But he's not practicing, but he also now has a measuring stick contract. The Devin Witherspoon deal is done. Yeah, they're on the clock like 24. Boy, could they squeeze a lot into days back then. 24 hours was crazy. But now you have Devin Witherspoon making $101 million, $33 million a year. How you feeling, Patriots fans, about Christian Gonzalez? Because we saw joint practices and preseason action without him. I'm not sure you want to see this defense without Christian Gonzalez. 617-779-0985. Christian Gonzalez and his contract is where Hart and Hurley are starting on a Saturday afternoon.
Boston's home for sports. Boston sports, yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Mike, just wondering when you knew Christian was not going to be here tonight and when you had that conversation.
Christian was a group of many players that weren't here tonight.
Mike, over here, just on Christian for clarification, did he suffer an injury in Monday's practice, and is that why we haven't seen
Christian
him?
was unavailable, physically unavailable for the practice. That's the clarification. Just like other players that I told to have treatment, and everybody has a plan here. There were other guys that were in that same category. If you want to list the names, Christian Ellis, Schooler, Landry, Barmore, etc. So make sure they're all included. They were all in the same group of what they did.
Mike Vrabel Thursday night after a scintillating 13-13 tie at Gillette Stadium. I might get into that later because I was listening to Gasper and Murray coming in, and Murray kind of got my wheels churning. Overtime in the preseason. How could we make it fun and exciting? Don't shake your head at me.
You guys are sick in the head.
Don't shake you.
The last thing I wanted was more football Thursday night.
Well, maybe we'll have some gimmick ideas. I got some things in my big cabeza that I want to share.
If we can shorten the quarters to 8 minutes, I'll talk to you about overtime. That's plenty,
Okay.
That's plenty of preseason football.
But that was Mike Vrabel explaining that Christian Gonzalez was physically unavailable, which I also thought isn't a thing in like romances, emotionally unavailable. That guy's emotionally So I guess it's better that he's physically unavailable than emotion. If he was emotionally unavailable, that means he no longer is connecting with the New England Patriots.
That's a good point. And Vrabel was asked this morning if he's on the same page with him.
Yeah.
And he said yes.
He was also cheerier this morning than he was post-game.
Yeah, there's kids
A
in
little
the press
salty
room.
post-game.
Very salty. Very
Yeah.
salty. You heard it there where it's just like, so make sure you have them all together. I thought that was disingenuous. You have a guy on PUP in Howard Landry. You have a guy in NFI in Brendan Schooler, and you're like, they're all in the same boat. It's like, no, they're not. This guy was out there until another team came in town, and then he wasn't.
And you didn't tell us he was not going to be out there for the joint practice with the Colts. An
talked to him
opportunity
right
you
beforehand.
had. He talked, and I believe he was asked about a Christian, Barmore, and his availability. So if he wanted to do the little list thing and say, actually, there's a few guys that are physically unavailable today, that would include Christian Barmore. That would include Christian Gonzalez. There would have been nothing to talk about. If he had gotten ahead of it and told us pre-Colts practice, well, we probably still could have talked about it, but there would have been less credibility or questions. It would have been like Vrabel says Gonzo's dealing with something.
Especially, I don't know how big you are into Gunna.
Excuse me?
Gunna, the rapper. That
Brendan Schooler?
Christian
He's
Gonzalez.
the Gunna on punts?
He's the Gunna. That Gonzalez posted in the middle this week where, you know, the lyrics were should have been done by now.
Yeah.
Something about not handling emotions or something like that. So this is what we're doing now. Like, it's what else you're supposed to draw from that when it's a picture of him in uniform on the practice field posting a song that says should have been done by now.
You want a little spin on that?
Sure.
This is spin that was given to me from somebody, let's just say, inside the NFL. Say this is an NFL source that made me look at it.
Wait, inside the NFL, Bill Belichick.
Not that inside
Okay,
the NFL.
all right.
Within the working world of the NFL, that made me look at it differently for I at least paused, and I was like, okay, I didn't look at it from that angle. What if that was not targeted at the New England Patriots? What if it was targeted at his agent? What if his agent has been selling him on also, okay, we're working, we'll do Witherspoon first, we're going to get it done, then we'll do you, and he's having some frustration that I was told this was going to be done, should have been done already. You told me by the, preseason I'd have my $100 million in the bank. Any chance that could have been targeted at his agent? And coincidentally enough, a couple days later, agent gets the first deal done.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's where we're at in this world of speculation. We're all in everything. What he wants, what he's thinking, where he physically is. We're just left to guess. And again, all we do know is that as of Tuesday, he was no longer going to work the way he had been all summer.
Right.
Basically since minicamp, but minicamp was a little half in, half out. Since training camp started, he has been all in until Tuesday when he was all out. Speculate anywhere you want, and again, if it's injury or if it's contract related, neither is good, and I'd argue injury's worse. Because the contract thing, guess what? That gets solved with the sign of a piece of paper. The injury thing, again, I don't have issues signing this guy, but if you're at the negotiating table and you're looking for a demerit on one of the best corners in football, there's literally basically one card you have to play.
Right.
Injury.
Never played a full season.
And now he's hurt from practice again? I'm just saying that's going to cause a problem.
So as we look at this, do we deem it a situation? Have we elevated this to situation? They have a situation that needs fixing with Christian Gonzalez?
Yes, because I would put any situation as when the head coach walks to the podium on any given day, does this have to be one of the first questions he faces?
Yeah.
And until he is back at work, yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, so they have a situation with their second best player? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
And go down that road?
Maybe their best.
Oh.
I'd say second best.
Okay. So maybe their best player, we have a situation. And we've also seen various forms of this defense, when he's on it, when he's not on it. And we also know that they have limitations in – there's two ways you can defend the pass, right? Two ways.
Yeah, you can yeah.
Pressure or cover.
They don't do the first part.
Yeah, they don't.
No.
We think they can cover when Christian Gonzalez is out there. Because we think when he's out there, they might have the best secondary in football. I've heard that bandied about. You added Bayard. You bring back Woodson after a nice young year. You got Marcus Jones, who was going at it pretty good with Josh Downs in practice. Carlton Davis, who apparently got absolutely roasted and toasted by everybody who could catch today.
Welcome back to practice, Carlton.
But you have a high-end secondary with Gonzo. But it's with Gonzo. You pull Gonzo off that, it's a run-of-the-mill secondary at best. It might even be a not very good, because the other day I was watching practice, Davis was out, Gonzo was out, and there were Canada,
Kendall Vildor,
a villain in a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even Prunty?
Karan Prunty.
Prunty?
He's big. He's long.
Okay. They do not have a very good secondary if Gonzo's not out there.
Yeah, and I know Vildor had the pick the other night, and Vildor has a ton of NFL experience. He's not one of these young guys coming in. He played full-time for 3 years in the NFL, basically, 2 with the Bears, 1 with the Lions. So there's some experience there, but you talk about a downgrade going from an established vet like Davis and arguably the third best corner in football. I think that's fair, to just guys. And it's significant, and you need him. And every second that he hasn't been out there, to me, the dollars just go up, because this team is in big trouble without him. And we're not going to do this right now, but Gabe Akis had his ups and his downs the other day.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
You're not going to, and they're going to have to play him. He's going to have to play 40 to 50% of the snaps at minimum. You're not going to get the pass rush. Like, it's not coming out of anywhere. I know Vrabel says, like, don't worry about Harold Landry.
I'm worried.
He's fine.
I'm worried.
Don't worry about him. They have a major issue there, so the back end is that much more important.
All right, we've shared our early opinions. I have a few more about the Christian Gonzalez situation, but let's work in some phone calls. 617-779-0985. Let's go to Mike in the car, who has an interesting, I think, angle on this. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how are you today?
Good.
So it's not the same thing, but, like when I'm talking about the agent. It's like when Bobby Orr, okay, his agent was, telling him this, no, the Bruins don't want you, this. And what the Bruins did, they wanted to give him 10% of the Boston Bruins. But his agent, Alan Eagleson, died. I'm not died, but he basically lied to Bobby Orr. And that's how Bobby Orr got traded to Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, I remember that story, and he doesn't get a percentage of the team, so he wants a percentage in whatever. It's a long time ago. I will say, and I heard a caller going at Chris Gasper, and Chris Gasper doing a great job going back at the caller a couple hours ago here on the Sports Hub, and he was like, it's two guys with the same agent. The agent gets to decide it. And Gasper's like, well, no, Gonzalez hires an agent. He works for Gonzalez. So it's not like he has to think the exact same way as Devin Witherspoon, right? Like you still have that ability to.
Yeah, he could have signed for 31.5 already.
Right. Or he can shoot for 40. And you know what? I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to do X. I'm willing to do Y. And maybe Witherspoon's not willing to risk it. Or maybe he wants to just get on the field and we're the Super Bowl champs. And I don't want to be the one that derails a potential back-to-back. Whatever the reasoning may be, just because they share an agent doesn't mean they have to take the exact same approach to their negotiations. So, yeah, stuff can happen between agents, right? We see it all the time in baseball. You're like, does the player want that or does the agent want that, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I think you can't take the player off the hook. The player hires the agent and goes down the road he wants to go down in the negotiations. And if that's 18% of the salary cap 3 years from now, then he wants his $59 million.
Got to imagine that's not the case, right?
Yeah, that
he's
seems
not
like a lot.
insane, right? We don't know Christian Gonzalez that well. He's actually talking more this summer.
Yeah.
He's sort of opening up, being a little
Comfortable.
bit more. Yeah, I don't think he's completely insane. Like some cornerbacks throughout time, like that's sort of traditionally like. I don't want to put Ty Law in that bucket, but where like the sort of personality is larger than life. I can see Ty Law being like, man, give me X% of the salary cap or I'm out of here. I don't see Gonzalez that way.
No. And Ty Law famously said, can't feed your family on Super Bowl rings. He famously said, I'm Ty Law, CEO of Ty Law, Inc. Like, he knew, I'm the business. I'm the one that brings in the money. He knew his value and what he wanted, and he wasn't really going to bend until he got what he wanted. And maybe this is a similar thing with Christian Gonzalez. 617-779-0985. We'll continue to take your phone calls. We see you lining up. Christian Gonzalez now has a clock ticking because there's no more comps. Devin Witherspoon has a deal. We know the numbers of that deal, so you're up next. Yep. You got 24 hours or the whole world blows up. So you better sign a deal so that the Patriots can have a good defense and a good team. 617-779-0985. Hart and Hurley on a Saturday afternoon on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Andy Hart, Michael Hurley, 98.5 The Sports Hub. And I did say we're going to have to get into the preseason overtime rules because I open up my ESPN browser and what do I see? The Browns and the Indiana Bears tied at 10 at halftime. So they're on their way. They might need some advice how to settle a tie ball game, Bears-Browns. We might get into that a little bit later, much to the chagrin of Michael Hurley, who's already – you're having a tough day. You have to be inside. Your coffee sucked.
The coffee was rough.
He complained about it, and then he poured it out.
That
That's how
never
bad it
happens.
was.
I can power through just about it, but that coffee, not fit for human consumption. It's all right. It's a bad day for coffee. It's a good day for us.
It's a great day for us because we have the rare Saturday big news that relates to a New England sports team. Devin Witherspoon, Seattle Seahawks cornerback, has signed his contract, $33 million a year. And $101 million guaranteed, so one more. Now, you were doing some research during the break.
Yeah. Don't ask Mike Florio for the details unless you've got unless you're a lawyer, unless you're a contract.
So
lawyer.
you didn't pull anything from that you want to share with the rest of the class?
So it's always the numbers, and we're going to say it. I'm going to say it in headlines. You're going to say it throughout the show that he makes $33 million per year, but we know that he won't.
Right.
We know that 101 is the more important number. So you want to know the details. However, 20 bullet points on the details. That's about 17 too many bullet points.
So the one I pulled out of it as you were sort of reading them to me is that it's a true extension. It's a 4-year extension on his current 2 years. It ends up being a 6-year deal for $156 million or something like that.
158.255.
And he gets $26 million upon signing, and then there's another $24 million bonus next spring, option bonus. So that's $50 million right off the bat that he's like fully guaranteed to get, basically. So those are some numbers to bounce around your head. But we have other numbers. I had somebody immediately reply on Twitter that he wants a percentage of the cap. Screw him. Do we know that?
We don't know that.
I mean, Bedard talked about it. But do we know for a fact that he wants a certain percentage of the salary cap in perpetuity, NBA max deal style like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? I don't know that we know that. We got to be careful here.
We don't know any facts.
That's par for the course around here for us, I feel like.
This one in particular, because it's been bottled up outside of Robert Kraft coming on the field and being like, yeah, we tried to make – and again, you go back to what Kraft said, right? We made him an offer to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, so one guy just blew that out of the water. He increased it by $2 million. So where was the Patriots' offer? Was it $100,000 more than the other guy? Was it $2 million more than the other guy? Or was it $4 million more than the other guy? I think Gonzalez wants $4 million more than the other guy.
But now it's only $2 million more than this guy, right?
Right.
So instead of going 31 to 35, and the Patriots might go, whoa, that's a big jump. Now if it's 33 to 35, that's half as big a jump.
Absolutely. But it puts that, I mean, I think we all, when Kraft said that, understood it was probably much closer to that 31 number.
Does your gut tell you that this deal today makes a Christian Gonzalez contract before the start of the regular season more or less likely?
It's got to be more. And the hang-up is that it's the Patriots who don't do this. They haven't done this. They haven't been like, oh, you're really good at your job. You're top of the market. Here is a market value contract. They haven't done that. But it's a new time. Like, Tom Brady isn't here to minimize everyone's contracts. Bill Belichick isn't there to play hardball with everyone. This is the way business is done. I mentioned the 2023 draft class. You could go through. Going into the summer, I think you had Jack Campbell, you had Will Anderson, and you had Jackson Smith and Jigba as guys that had gotten their contracts. Now everyone is. Zay Flowers is getting it. Bijan Robinson is getting it. Darnell Wright is getting it. You go up and down, and like I said, everyone that's going to get one from that first-round class has gotten one except for Christian Gonzalez. So it kind of has to get done.
So we're going to have a little disagreement here. Late last week, you wanted some disagreement. You thought we agreed too much on this show.
It's about time.
I think this contract makes it less likely that a deal gets done because I'm going to take the Bedards and the Currans and the Breers and sort of the respected reporters that are analyzing, maybe quasi-reporting. What'd you call it?
Repeculating or specporting. We're workshopping the word.
I like specporting.
Specporting.
Let's go with specporting. That they are specporting, but there's some information or veracity into what they're saying. So maybe Bedard is wrong with the 18%, but maybe there is a percentage that Christian Gonzalez wants in caps moving forward and a certain structure that he wants. And I think this deal, while it did lift the AAV, is a normally structured deal, it seems like. He got a little more than the last guy, or a decent amount more in AAV than the last guy, a little bit more in guaranteed than the last guy on it. This will be outdated in a couple years, right? And if they reportedly don't want a contract that's going to be outdated, I don't know that this fixed it. This actually gives the Patriots reason to say, why are you special? The guy in your draft class just signed a sort of traditional contract extension for the latest best corner in football, right?
The guy in your draft class who has every bit of case to be as good as you.
Right. So why are you special? And you're asking for things that aren't realistic. So I actually think there's a chance this hinders the negotiations, which is something that was hinted at by Schefter in the tweet he put out and said there hasn't been much progress. I don't think if any of this percentages or contracts that are not going to be obsolete in 2 years is true, then I don't think this contract helps push the Patriots and Christian Gonzalez closer to a deal.
It's interesting, too, because you looked at, like, one case I would have made if I was Gonzalez is I'm much better than Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And now the Denzel Ward thing added a complication because I think Ward is a very accomplished player, but he's 29. It was a 2-year extension. It was much different. I think it was Stingley, Surtain, Gonzalez. To me, those are three guys. And you could say, yeah, but as Sauce Gardner was getting more, as Trent McDuffie was getting more, you could kind of say, I deserve way more. But I think Witherspoon is a good equalizer. Same draft class, more Pro Bowls, same number of All-Pros. I'm not going to say he won the Super Bowl and you lost the Super Bowl when we're talking about two cornerbacks, but he was on the winning team.
Yep.
And there's every bit of comparison there. I think Witherspoon holds up very well with Gonzalez. I think Gonzalez is a little better. Not $4 million a year better.
And that's why you'd give him,
34.
theoretically.
I give him 34 today.
34 or 35
Yeah.
and $1 more million of guaranteed money or $1.5 million. So it would make it 102.5 guaranteed and the deal is done. So we'll see. I think if it's a slow roll with Gonzo over the next week plus, I think that gives you some indication of maybe it's not quite as easy as everybody's making it out to be right now.
And how hurt is he? How hurt is he?
Physically unavailable.
He's physically unavailable. Is he sore? I had a joke. I'm not a wrestling fan. I think it's Kevin Nash in the wheelchair with the cast. Just takes the blanket off. Like, all right, I'm ready.
Signs the deal and then just takes the blanket off and enters the ring and kicks ass.
I'm healed. I'm cured. So if it's that, then it's fine. But if he's really hurt, which the Patriots are telling us he's really hurt, are you going to sign a deal while he's really hurt?
Depends how hurt. I need the details.
Depend how hurt.
Got to check the medicals.
Last year it was just a hammy tweak. It'll be a couple weeks, right? He missed 8 weeks.
I don't think he's really hurt, so that's not really a concern for me. I think he's physically unavailable because he hasn't signed his contract yet. 617-779-0985. Let's go back to the phone lines. Jeff is at work and has a thought on Gonzo. What's up, Jeff?
Thank you, guys. You lead it right up to my question. Where is the video of this so-called, bad play, fell and twisted or whatever, and got hurt? And, Boston's finest media protecting the Crafts or Gonzalez or Vrabel or anyone. And I'm sorry to your producer for not saying that, but I told him, where is the video? How have I not seen a clip of this? How is it not available? And is it being hidden?
Thanks for the call, Jeff.
Great news. As much as I love a conspiracy theory, nobody's allowed to film during team portions. You're allowed to film warm-ups. You're allowed to film some drills early on. But once they get to actually playing football, cameras, not only are you not allowed to film, your camera better not be on the tripod.
Right.
Your camera better be pointing at the ground or turned around because
they
take that
legit
seriously.
Expect you to turn it around immediately and then start taking it apart and go up to the tent. And
Yep. And it was, for accuracy's sake, it was last Monday, which was closed to the public.
Right. So you couldn't even get the
videos.
guy on the bleachers with a grainy zoom-in type video of it.
So the Patriots have footage of it.
Yes, the Patriots have footage.
They put out highlights, sort of like the Eagles do when Jalen Hurts throws ugly picks over the middle and causes a stir.
Yeah.
The team has the video. That's it.
You think they're going to put that out?
I don't think they would. I don't think that would be advantageous.
But what if they want us to believe he's hurt? shouldn't they show us where he got hurt?
That would be indication that he's going to be traded because they're that far away, because that would be really bad. But no, I do love a good conspiracy theory, but not allowed to film those portions. You're not even allowed to take still photographs of those sessions.
Do you believe there's any forget the video. Do you believe there is any protecting going on by the media? What do you say? The great Boston media, whatever it is.
Thank you, Jeff.
Do you think there's any protecting going on of anybody? Because he listed everybody. He's like the Crafts, Gonzo, Vrabel.
I think Vrabel's disposition the other night was a antenna raiser for me. He seemed sort of over dealing with the questions, Oh, good. Another Christian Gonzalez question after a football game. That's lovely. Yeah. He wasn't in there. Neither were other players. Move on. Like, it felt like I'm sick of this. Is that protection? I mean, you don't want to blow it up. You don't want things to get ugly. So if that's called protecting him, I guess. But I don't know. I'm with Jeff on the conspiracy that I didn't believe that he was really hurt because the timing. You practice all summer until another team shows up, and then you just sort of bow out. If he was there today, I would even further disbelieve it. But I guess the fact that he wasn't there today tells me he might actually be hurt.
So your buddy and my buddy, Mike Giardi, I did his podcast Tuesday after the joint practice with the Colts.
Sick brag.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool, pretty fun. He actually blamed himself in a sense because he had written about and maybe tweeted about the injury, discomfort, hard fall, however you want to paint it. And he's like, yeah, probably should have asked coach before practice when we had availability on that. And no one did. So that tells me
it wasn't that bad.
Whatever they saw, they weren't freaking out. They weren't like, well, we got to ask Vrabel about that really bad fall that he had at the end of practice.
It wasn't like the World Cup where they bring the stretcher out onto the field.
Right. No one died on a pitch down in Foxborough.
Yeah, and as soon as Gonzalez wasn't there Tuesday, I know Mike Reese tweeted he did take a hard fall yesterday. And, I wish you and I, Andy, were there Monday. We're grinding down at the training camp practices, but we weren't there, so we can't give our firsthand account of it. But there were reporters. I know Phil Perry was another one who so everyone that was there did say, well, he did have this sort of ugly fall in the end zone while covering Romeo Dobbs. So, there is plausibility.
And you see those all the time, though, at camp. And that's my point, is they thought it was one of those that they see all the time.
Keyshawn Bootie's fallen and his helmet is flying off.
Right.
Flying like 3 times already.
So
Dobbs hits the ground every time he touches the ball.
I do think it's interesting that all the reporters, and it sounds like they all saw it. They all noted it in their brains if they didn't necessarily know, like, oh, my God, he's hurt. We should dig into this. We need to see if he's going to be out there tomorrow. They just kind of went on with it. Hey, who's available after practice? Who's talking? Went about with their day, blogged entries, whatever. So I think that's interesting. But Christian Gonzalez, is he physically banged up, or is he in a hold-in situation? Maybe he's not even in a hold-in. Maybe he didn't show up. Maybe he's physically unavailable, as the coach said, and you take it literally. He was not there. Christian Gonzalez, is he going to get a new contract? How are you feeling about his contract? And we are going to delve into that game from Thursday night, because I know Michael Hurley has a lot of thoughts on the scintillating 13-13 tie.
My takeaways are similar to Florio's breakdown of the Witherspoon contract.
Ooh.
20-point. I'll give you 30.
Bullets, bullet after bullet. Borregales, the receivers, the pass rush, all that and more in your phone call, 617-779-0985 on 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's Hart and Hurley on a Saturday afternoon.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Homeowners and landscapers, step up your cup with a Bobcat Zero Turn from LVJ Trailers and
Boston Sports, we're fans just like you. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Unless Christian Gonzalez, and you said, I haven't had a chance to look at the numbers, and as always, it's going to be in the devil of the details. I'm going to be very curious to see, what kind of raise Devin Witherspoon gets for this year, and also, what he would be under the 5th-year option. Most of the corner contracts, they get like a modest raise up to, let's say, high teens, maybe 20 in year 4. Then that goes up to 24, 25 in year 5. And then sort of the big money kicks in after that. It doesn't, we've heard a lot of talk, whether it was about Witherspoon or Gonzalez, especially from guys like, Albert Breer, talking about how these guys wanted to change the game basically at the corner market. It doesn't really seem like Witherspoon's contract is doing that. So I think as long as Gonzalez follow suit and he's not looking to make a statement, then I think Gonzalez's contract should be pretty easy to get done now that Witherspoon is done.
That was Greg Bedard, Boston Sports Journal, earlier today here on 98.5 The Sports Hub with Gasper and Murray. And I agree with him. If Christian Gonzalez isn't looking to do something crazy or reset the market or break the bank, then and fall in line. You know, it should be pretty easy to figure out. It's almost like a slotted deal. You give the little bump over the previous contract, and we can all sign the deal and move on, and the Patriots secondary can be awesome, and all of those things seems to be sort of the general reaction. They're on the clock, right? They're on the 24 clock. They are just waiting to get it done now that this deal has been done. And yet, yeah, there's that clock. George thinks it should be done by the end of the show. He said by 5 o'clock we should have something to report. Right, George? You feeling that?
T-minus 3 weeks ago with the Kraft comments, I'll tell you that.
We got to get Jack Bauer in the negotiating room, get it done.
Absolutely. Oh, he'll get it done. He'll use some tactics that are not necessarily okay, but he'll get it done. But Adam Schefter, in tweeting about the Witherspoon deal and then a follow-up tweet to the Witherspoon deal earlier this morning, and it's been viewed over 500,000 times now, wrote, "Now that Devin Witherspoon's deal is done, the market also has been reset for Patriots cornerback Christian Gonzalez, who is looking for a new deal and has the same agent, Reggie Johnson, as Witherspoon." The last line, I want you to listen real carefully. "The Patriots and Gonzalez have not made much progress so far." Which I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. You think that means so far in general? Or is Schefter writing this, they haven't made much progress so far post-Witherspoon deal? Because I think that matters.
Well, I would hope not on the latter. If you're reporting the news and saying, well, geez, it's been multiple minutes now and the Patriots haven't gotten this done. But I guess the fact that the agent has been working both tells you that, I mean, it's not as though this morning the Seahawks woke up and like, these are the terms we'd like to agree. And the agent said, sure, let's sign it.
So the agent probably could have gone to the Patriots days ago and been like, listen, we're about to land the plane in Seattle.
Correct.
We know what it's going to be.
I mean, I wish Adam Schefter was a little more specific.
But if it's just in general, let's just take it in a general sense.
Then it's not surprising.
Patriots and Gonzalez have not made much progress so far. Is that concerning?
No, because I think you go through the different iterations of the Christian Gonzalez saga throughout it all, like the main, what's the right word there? Thread line? The main thing going through it all is, well, it's tied into Witherspoon. It's tied into Witherspoon. Everyone has said that all along, so this felt like the benchmark. The fact that it is a significant jump, I don't think complicates it. Because if, like you said earlier, if Gonzalez was demanding a large jump and no one else had done it, the Patriots could be like, what are you talking about? Now there's been a $2 million jump. I don't think Gonzalez is worth $2 million more than the guy who just got $2 million more than the next. I bet you Christian Gonzalez does think he is. So there's still negotiation to be done. But again, it just at this point seems as though whether you land on 34 or 35, you get it done and you move on. Because, again, I keep saying, the old days are gone. If you want good players that you drafted, this is what you have to do to keep them.
And I think that is a key point, and I know we're almost up against it. We'll continue this discussion on the other side, but the Patriots under Elliott Wolf and Mike Vrabel have said they want to draft, develop, and re-sign. They drafted the Patriots, not Mike Vrabel. They drafted Christian Gonzalez. He has developed into a
superstar.
Top 5 corner at worst in the National Football League, a superstar. He's doing commercials. He's making plays in the playoffs.
Like Super Bowl. He's making AFC Championship game clinching interceptions in the snow.
So draft, develop. Check. If this were a tweet, you'd be like, green check, re-sign. Little clock emoji, although emojis get me in trouble on Twitter lately, so I better be careful. But a clock emoji will say, so are the Patriots risking their entire philosophy as an organization in 2 years under Elliott Wolf and Mike Vrabel with the way they handle the Christian Gonzalez situation? And how does it tie into, I don't know, maybe this time next year with Drake May, who's going to be looking for a big contract? How much of an issue is Drake May on the horizon limiting the ability to get this deal done for the Patriots? 617-779-0985. We'll continue to take your phone calls on this Christian Gonzalez situation. Michael Hurley said we can indeed call it a situation, and then we're going to turn our attention to that preseason game where Michael Hurley had lots of thoughts on Colts, Patriots, all that and more after a quick headlines from Michael Hurley here on 98.5 Sports Hub.
From the Telefair Tiger Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. Touchdown! The flagship Patriots ruin the Celtics. WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting. Sports Hub headlines.
Well, as we mentioned, we've got a development in the Christian Gonzalez saga as Devin Witherspoon agreed to a contract extension with the Seahawks. That deal will pay him $33 million per year with $101 million guaranteed. As we know, Gonzalez and Witherspoon share an agent, so this deal sets the market for Gonzalez and the Patriots to do some business. The Patriots' practice today was closed to the public. Gonzalez was not a participant due to an injury, according to Mike Vrabel. Over to baseball, the Red Sox lost their series opener in Pittsburgh last night, 8-4. They've now lost 6 of their last 7 games. Tonight, they'll look to Sonny Gray, who's 14-3 with a 2.79 ERA, going up against Jared Jones, whose numbers aren't quite as good, 2-4 with a 5.03 ERA. First pitch at 7:15, and I'll save you some trouble. That game is on Fox tonight. You're welcome for saving you the scramble. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Prolotherapy. Don't let joint pain keep you off the court, course, or trail. Eliminate that pain with Dr. Franke of Boston Prolotherapy. I'm Michael Hurley. Next update in 60 minutes.
Are you actually coaching the game, or it's just that is? I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston talk sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports Hub. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Play, swinging the leg by Borregales. His kick to the uprights is no good. Looked it. So Andy Borregales,
that's
who you'll recall last year had the trouble early in the season against Miami, rebounded from that difficulty. Now 2 for 5 this evening.
Bob Sosi got it right, as did Mike Vrabel when he was asked about Andy Borregales missing a couple kicks, and he quickly corrected 3. He was angry. He was not happy, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that we can get into. But right now, we are still breaking things down with this Christian Gonzalez contract situation. Devin Witherspoon gets his deal in Seattle, and literally everything I read on Twitter from fans, from reporters, it's like, it's on the clock, or, well, this should be pretty easy. If he got a $2 million jump average annual value, so just give Gonzo a $2 million jump average annual value, $35 million a year, and give him like $102 million guaranteed. Our work here is done. Let's call, get the beers, let's celebrate kind of thing. Is it that easy?
It should be, because I think Gonzalez is a great cornerback. I think he is. It's hard to evaluate these guys against each other given what they do. Everybody's different, but you have Stingley, you have Surtain, then I think you have Gonzalez. Right? Probably the 3rd best cornerback in the league. I don't think he's on another planet. I don't think he is a football-altering cornerback who deserves his own section of contracts. It's pretty straightforward. He's a football player. He's really good. He deserves top-of-the-line money. You give it to him. If he wants more than that, then this will get complicated.
Okay, and also complicating it for me are 2 other things. First, as I mentioned going into the break, your philosophy as an organization, we're going to draft, develop, and re-sign. Okay, that's maybe less because you know what? Each individual player looks at their own, right? Just pay me, and I don't really care whether you signed Gonzo or not. But Drake May could use percentages and jumps and how much you reset the market for his deal, right? And if you gave him X percent over the previous, well, I want X percent. If you allow him to reset the guaranteed money, then I'm Drake May. I don't know if you noticed, I finished 2nd in the MVP. I turned your entire franchise around. I took you. Hell, you're bragging about you helped Drake May design the New Balance Center, right? If you're watching the game on TV, I know you were there. I wasn't
there this week.
Oh, well, they really promoted that New Balance Center. Oh,
yeah?
And it does look cool, I'll be honest.
Okay.
But they also said Drake.
I like the violence area.
The violence area, and there may be nothing cooler than Pat Patriot squatting. A simple logo that
that's a good one.
Should have existed for whoever. Yeah. They deserve a raise. Whoever designed that logo deserves a raise. And yes, I did see that they sold out of T-shirts with that logo in the pro shop, but more are coming in. So
good to know.
But
you know what complicates this matter, and it's a shame because I mentioned all those 2023 guys that are getting their deals.
Yeah,
there were 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 4 picks that year. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be getting any big money extensions this year that we can use as comparisons for Drake May. You had Bryce Young in the I don't even know if they picked up his 5th-year option.
I don't think
they might have.
Did they?
I don't know. I don't think so. Then you have Stroud, who did have the 5th-year picked up, and then the 4th overall pick. You saw him the other night. What do you think of Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, not great. Not great at all. But the other aspect of this, beyond the Drake May consideration, is you traded a first-round pick for A.J. Brown, right?
Oh.
So doesn't that feel like you're pretty heavily invested in this season, coming off a trip to the Super Bowl? That I don't want to say all in. I don't want to say you're all in, but you're heavily invested in the 2026 season. If I told you either Christian Gonzalez is not part of this team for whatever reason in 2026, or he's in a hold-in, he's got a hamstring, he's not playing, then he comes back and he gets a real hamstring because he hadn't done anything for a month. If they don't have Christian Gonzalez, doesn't that kind of take a step toward derailing everything you want to do and be?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of this all this year?
Right.
If you're just going to, I don't want to say nickel and dime because we're talking big money, but if you're going to, you know what's at stake, you know what the deal is, you know the way business is, I think. I think they know the way business is being done around the league, right?
I think so.
But yeah, I thought you were going a different direction with that. I was looking at wide receiver salaries. A.J. Brown at $32 million.
Yes.
He's dropping down that list. How's he going to feel next year?
He is going to need a contract as well.
He's making $10 million less than Jackson Smith-Njigba. Is Jackson Smith-Njigba $10 million more than him? Is he 25% better than him?
So it's also funny. Jackson Smith-Njigba, what's his number in front of you?
42.15.
There's also been an argument on the behalf of these corners. I don't know that they've actually said it, but
we're going backwards.
Why aren't we getting the same elite money? We cover those guys, and we're going backwards. We have it, and I agree with them. I think they have a much harder job.
Oh, 100%.
Much harder.
The receivers are kind of freaks, sort of super gifted, super talented. To do the other side of it, we're, again, as Gonzalez said, we don't know where they're going.
Right.
We got to go backwards.
So
we deserve the money. That's a fair point.
And is he alluding to, that's why I want to reset the market and get wide receiver money, show me $40 million a year? Because if he's asking for $40 million a year, I could see why Robert Kraft preemptively said, we've offered him more than anybody, both at the position and the history of the team, starting to play. And I heard Murray and Gasper talk like an early PR game, like painting him as the bad guy, painting him as the guy that's out of whack with the market, painting him with the guy that, well, you play cornerback. That's why you're not making 40, because the market says receivers make 40. And he goes, well, that's why I want to reset the market. And I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
If there's any truth to that, so 18% of the cap, wide receivers make $40 million a year, but we have a harder position than wide receivers. Like, these are all little Reese's Pieces nuggets that they might be wanting a lot of money.
It was a great blog back in the day for Boston.com.
The best of all time.
Shout out to Mike Reese. He invented Patriots blogging. But there's 6 receivers right now making more than $33 million with more than 100 or 100 or more guaranteed. So it's not as if it's night and day. And this is where Gonzalez would probably lose me. If it's for 40, I'm sorry. Like, he's very good. Nobody's that good. Nobody is that percentage better than the next guy. I think he's better than Witherspoon, as I said. Quick, $6 million out of $33 million. That's math I can't do off the top of my head.
It's like that's 20,
18%.
18.
Keep it at 18. Why
Yeah.
not? 18%. So that, is he 18% better than him? I don't think so.
No.
So
I don't even think he's the best corner in football. And I don't think that's
top 3.
He's top 3.
Yeah.
I think it's Surtain, and then you can actually start the conversation. He might be the second best corner, but it's a group that we're all debate from different cities, blah, blah, blah.
On any given Sunday, he could be the best cornerback in the world. Like on Super Bowl Sunday, he was the best cornerback in the world.
Yes.
Some weeks, other guys will be better, but he is in that group. He's certainly worthy of this level of contract. When you want to change the landscape, I don't think I don't think anyone's the one to do it. I wouldn't do it for Surtain. I wouldn't do it for Stingley. I wouldn't do it for Gonzalez. Like, I don't think anyone is that much better than anyone. These things take time.
617-779-0985. I think we've shown throughout the first hour plus of this show that there's a lot of layers to this negotiation. As much as we want to make it look easy that, Witherspoon did his, you did yours, there can be layers to it and perspective that is potentially needed. Let's go to the phone lines. Darren in Belmont has a thought on this situation. What's up, Darren?
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
Thank you for taking my call. I had a quick question before I make my point. Is the salary cap around $330 million right now?
I believe it's going up to that. I think that might be next year. It might be 310
next year.
301 this year.
Okay, 301.
So conceivably next year, if you sign Gonzalez to like the $35 million and Drake May comes up and he wants $60, Milt Williams is $25, and then you got Braun coming up that's probably going to be another 30. You're talking about 50% of your cap is going to be tied up with 4 to 5 players. How do you build a roster based on so top-heavy?
Thanks for the call, Darren. That's the challenge. And it also goes back to Tom Brady and the Patriot way and Belichick and leaving money on the table. I did recently see the clip making the rounds, John Wall, I believe, admitting that he left $16 million on the table, and it's the biggest regret he ever had. Like, he went with the idea, like, I want the team to be good and leave them a little money, and he's like, nope, I would never do that again. That was not the thing to do.
Now you get Tom Brady out here selling toys and get healthy immediately overnight type gimmicks. You know, the guy's working for $1 because he didn't milk the Patriots for $1 they're worth. But I think to answer the question, you can't really build a roster that way, but you also have to pretty much hit every draft pick. Then you could probably have a pretty successful team. The Patriots, I know this regime is only 1 year in. The past 4 years, the 2020s have been devastating in the draft. That's why you're in this position where you've had to spend and spend and spend and spend because you haven't been able to draft and develop. Now you did with Gonzalez. And now you're at this point.
And that's why I find this so funny. It's a little bit like the Kayshon Boutte conversation. We wanted wide receivers for years. Now that we have a lot of wide receivers, we're running one of the wide receivers out of town. We wanted them to hit on first-round picks for years. How many times did we have to hear, they haven't re-signed a first-round pick since 2014 or blah, 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 whatever the hell the number was, Dante Hightower. Yeah. Well, now they have hit on a first-round pick so well that they're not going to re-sign him because it's the opposite. It's not that he stinks like Cole Strange. It's that he's so good, he wants to reset the market to sign a contract a second time in New England. And it's just an interesting situation. And I don't get the feeling. This is just my gut feeling. I don't get the gut feeling that everybody's idea that this should be a piece of cake. Let's have this done by, the end of the weekend or something. Also, a question for you. Do you expect him joint practices Wednesday, Thursday?
You want... he's hurt, Andy.
Is he?
He's hurt.
He's physically unavailable.
He's working with Frank. He's doing everything we ask him.
In the violence room?
I don't know if he's getting the violence area. I doubt it. I wouldn't be in the violence area if I was hurt. I'd be in the pool. I'd be doing some
those pools
low
look
impact.
Nice.
The pools look nice.
Let's go back to the phone line, 617-779-0985. Matt in Rhode Island has a thought on this discussion. What's up, Matt?
Yeah, I'm in the violence area 7 days a week out here. It's been hot. Everyone's irritable at my job. So, obviously, the Gonzo thing, like he's earned this, right? And when he went out into practice, covering A.J. Brown, and he put on the show and everything like this. My thing is like this: is this a prelude to what Drake? When fast forward, I think it's going to get done pretty quickly. Hopefully, I wouldn't go if I were him. I wouldn't be doing next week's practices with other teams, though. I mean, that's a little bit different, right? But I mean, my thing is, what are we going to see with Drake May? Are they going to just roll out the red carpet and throw him $70 million, or are they going to do the Tom Brady thing where they guilt trip him and this, that, and the other thing? Otherwise, the crafts are wearing me out as well. They really are. But anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Matt. So I don't actually think they're the same because I think quarterback is such an outlier position where you almost have to just grin and bear it. Even if you had any hesitation, you can't not sign Drake May.
Like even the Bengals did it.
Right.
If the Bengals can get it done, anyone can get it done. The
Whereas,
Bengals get nothing, and they got the receiver too.
Like Trent McDuffie was just traded by a quality organization to another quality organization, but $100 million cornerback, which is what you have, was just traded, right? Like that happened, or even Sauce Gardner
a year before, like 3 months after signing it.
Like
for 2 firsts.
When was the last time the highest paid quarterback was traded? You don't.
Yeah, you had like Goff and Stafford was probably the biggest quarterback trade we've ever seen, right?
Right. Other than that, if you get a quarterback and he's good, you hold on to him with everything in your power because it's that important. So
yeah. Well, there is one complication there because you look and Mahomes is sort of in another stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
He is that guy we talk about where if Gonzalez is trying to be with corners, he loses me.
Yeah.
And then you have that next group. You have Burrow, you have Allen, you have there's 2 complicating factors in there. One is Dak Prescott at 60. That to me,
it's a lot.
Any good young quarterback is gonna be like, well, I want more than that. It's Dak Prescott. He's done a lot in this league, sort of. He's not exactly Patrick Mahomes.
He's done a lot in this league prior to January.
Correct. And then the other one in there is Jordan Love, who's also in that 55 per year. And it's just sort of like, I like Jordan Love. He's got a good arm. Is he really one of the best quarterbacks? Like some weeks, But he's not Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. He's not in that stratosphere to me. So I think any young quarterback, Drake May included, when it comes contract time, is like, well, we got to start there. That's below my floor.
All right, we've been promising it for a while now. We'll continue to take your phone call, 617-779-0985 on the Christian Gonzalez contract situation. Does it get done quickly? Are you starting to get worried about it? Is there even a path where he's not a member of the Patriots? It's all counting down like a great episode of 24. But we need to get to Hurley's thoughts on the preseason opener. He was blogging. He was writing them down. He had bullet points and slideshows and videos and all kinds of things. From the pass rush, Gabe Backus, to the kicking issue that had Mike Vrabel all worked up. We'll get into the details of that 13-13 tie Patriots-Colts on Thursday night. That's next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub with Hart and Hurley.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Coach, no matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Mike, Andy missed a couple of field goals today. What was your message to him?
3. I don't have a message. I mean, we're expected to make them. That's pro football. You know, they're banging them in from 60 yards. They got 2 kickers on the roster, so, you know, Andy knows we have to make those field goals.
Easily my favorite answer from Mike Vrabel's post-game.
3.
Yeah. No, don't sell him short. A couple is 2. 3 is a few. If you had said few, it would have worked. But it was 3 kicks and no message. We're supposed to make them. And then he brings up they have 2 kickers.
One of whom missed a 61-yarder, one of whom hit it.
Right.
He liked that dynamic.
And we don't have 2 kickers, but maybe we should look into having 2 kickers. So this was, I think, the biggest hot button issue kind of coming out of the game. There's a lot of other things we'll get to. I don't know. I look at this very simply. He's your kicker. Whether you like it or not, for now, Andy Borregales is your kicker. You can bring in another guy. I would be stunned if you found a guy on the street right now who's not one of the, so there's 32 teams. Let's just say he's not one of the 75 best kickers, because a lot of teams have 2 right now in camp. You're going to find a guy on the street right now who's going to be you're going to give him the job after you invested a draft pick and then a season. Remember, Borregales wasn't good to start last year, and Vrabel stuck with him, gave him the game ball after missing a kick in Miami, that whole thing. You're stuck with Andy Borregales for right now.
You could bring Daniel Carlson in. Remember him?
No.
Raiders?
Yes. Do I want to? Why is he unemployed?
Graham Gano's out there.
I would argue there's a reason all these guys are not currently employed.
Brandon McManus, there's a name.
There's a lot of names out there. Borregales is your guy for better or worse.
Yeah.
And update to the story, 6 for 6 at practice today, Michael. No, but wait, there's more. What's the rest of that story?
On the skinny posts.
Skinny posts.
Can you describe those? Because when you see them, they're a little jarring in person. They are skinny.
So it's a practice tool for kickers in which they just shrunk the goalpost to, what are goalposts, like 10 yards apart?
Great question.
Let's say they're 10 yards wide. These are probably 5 yards wide. They're probably half or less of the width.
18 feet 6 inches are the normal one.
18 feet 6 inches. So that's
six yards.
So then these are like
that.
3 yards wide.
Yeah.
And he went 6 of 6 on those. I heard Bedard talking about it from varying distances. Started in the 30s, but ended in the late 40s, right around 50. And he hit all of them.
Good response.
All of them. Is it a good response? Because I'm going to need you to make them in front of people, not on the back field with no one watching.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was my biggest takeaway coming out of the game, because are we going to say, oh, the 5th string linebacker struggled, or are we going to say the guy who's actually a part of the team struggled mightily? To your point, which you said before we came on air, it's not like they were 30 yards. They were all 49, 55, and 56. They were legit kicks, but you drafted them. That's what I keep coming back. You used a draft pick on the guy.
Yeah.
But remember, he started this way last year. He caused a lot of concern early on, and then ended up being fine. I don't think you worried about him past the first 4 weeks of the year, right?
Nope.
So I'm not going to freak out about it, but to me, it's certainly, it vaults to the top of the list of things you can take away from that game.
Right. It's one of the handful of things where you're talking about the starter, the guy who you're going to be expected to do it in September and October. Right. Now, I also heard Bedard throw this out there. I don't think he was trying to make an excuse, but is sort of giving you reason, maybe. He mentioned the new turf that was haphazardly thrown together. He clearly doesn't have much experience on that turf.
I'm going to throw that one right in the trash, all due respect.
And-
Shane Schrader, the Colts kicker.
Yeah.
That 61-yard field goal was the best kick I've ever seen in my entire life.
And he also didn't have much chance to get experience on the Gillette Stadium haphazardly installed turf. The other that Bedard brought up was it was not Julian Ashby, right? The long snapper. It was a different long snapper.
Lalo.
Yeah.
Lalo.
Let's go with that. Lalo.
That was his name.
So is that potentially something you would allow him?
Snaps looked fine to me.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't breaking it down though. I didn't go frame by frame on the spin rate.
So we shot it down. It's just Borregales had a bad night.
Yeah, and now the first miss was pretty good. It was a 55-yarder. It was on target, and then just halfway through it kind of took a turn. The second miss was awful.
Never had a chance.
It was a helicopter.
Awful.
It was a shank. It was like off the hosel. It was terrible.
Looked like me golfing.
Exactly. And then the third one, he hooked it. It was never going in. It was a miss hit. To me, the super concerning one was the second one. That looked like that was a Chad Ryland flashback.
Right.
That was ugly. But again, I'm not super worried about it long term. You just have to take note of it and move it forward. The fact that he had a great practice day today was a good first step because you said you got to do it in front of people, right?
Yeah.
And we're a little affected in this part of town because that's 3 draft picks on kickers this decade, which to me is insane. Chad Ryland, I remember, missed some in a preseason game. They got back. It might have been that Packers game that ended early because then they practiced down in the lower field. And I remember being there, and I had my notebook on. I'm like, all right, field goal time. And I wrote, wide left. And then number 2, I wrote, wider left. And then number 3, I wrote,
widest.
The widest left. In all caps. And that ended up being a problem going. So at least Borregales was like, all right, you know what? I screwed up. Here we go.
And do you think the attitude we got from Mike Vrabel there, was that solely pissed off at the kicker, or was that just the culmination of the game? Because the game had bad penalties, bad run defense. Like there were other aspects of the game that he clearly wasn't overly happy with, or was that flat out, I'm not happy with our kicker who suddenly can't hit field goals?
I don't have a message.
Yeah, a little both. Did you hear Vrabel last week? He was asked about Vinatieri. And he had some glowing remarks about Vinatieri and then basically said he wasn't off on his own like the lonely kicker. He was one of us. I think that tells you what Vrabel, a football player, thinks of kickers.
Yeah.
Which is kickers. A necessary evil, if you say. So you just don't want to think about it, worry about it, stress about it, have any concern about it when it just should be an operation that is as automatic as can be given the challenges of that job.
Yeah. And it was, I won't say alarming. Alarming is strong. But it was something that you file in the back of your head, and then when he misses a kick in Seattle, you're like, yeah, he's had a bad summer. Remember that preseason game? He sucked there, too. So what was your other – so if we remove Borregales,
okay,
that is the number one takeaway, and it's a negative one.
Yep.
What's the second biggest takeaway from the preseason opener?
It's an injury, Ben Brown. I don't know how much – start the clock. Maybe we'll do 12 seconds on Ben Brown. I think he was a super important backup because you have – there you go. It's ticking. You've got pretty much him as the only real backup to play either guard spot or center, and he's out for an extensive period of time, Vrabel said today. He said weeks, 2 to 4 to 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. So doesn't sound good on Ben Brown. And then his backup, Rupchich, got hurt too.
Yeah.
So you're signing guys off the street today to come in with no NFL experience that are now part of that squad. And so the interior O-line, like I know it's not sexy, it's not fun. I watched Tom Brady have some of the worst years of his life as an NFL quarterback when his interior line was no good. It's an important, significant thing that even the best of all time can't overcome. So Vera Tucker has injury questions. You don't know how Wilson's going to hold up. Maybe it's just a physical job people get rolled up on. That to me, again, not sexy. I'll stop now. The Ben Brown injury was number 2.
Yeah, and that's a position where I had been, I mean the line in general, optimistic that you were going to be better. You had more depth. You had more options. You were moving like you had reason for optimism at tackle and at line and tackle. And now this is like a first step toward, well, what if Vera Tucker gets hurt like he's been potentially known to get hurt in the past? What's going to happen? You mentioned Wilson. Sure, it's great that he's a natural center and he's happy there and blah, blah.
He was bad last year at guard.
Right.
There's no guarantee that just moving over makes him much better.
No, and I certainly don't want to be talking about the offensive line derailing the offense because I think we all like the running backs, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, even tight ends, and that'll be a little bit of a tease. Maybe we'll talk about one of the tight ends that performed in the preseason game Thursday night against the Colts. Andy Hart, Michael Hurley, 617-779-0985, taking your phone calls. What was your biggest takeaway from the preseason opener? Were you happy? Did you even watch? Did you see my guy Paul Perillo chiming in from Bob's Discount Furniture Studios? And I think we'll get to some optimism from Michael Hurley. I'm setting you up here. I want optimism on the other side. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Hart and Hurley on a Saturday afternoon.
Boston's home. Boston sports. Yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
3rd down and 6. The snap with an empty center. Throwing left, and it's caught by Kyle Williams. Back shoulder along the left sideline for the Patriots touchdown.
Beautiful ball. Beautiful recognition from Tommy DeVito there. When you see the back of a defensive back's helmet, you know he's not going to be able to defend anything but the width of his shoulders. He spotted a target there for Kyle Williams in the back corner of the end zone, made the accurate throw right over the defender's helmet for 6.
Bob Sosi and Phil Perry here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Nice pipes from Phil.
Well done. Well done by Phil. I mean, I know he only gets the chance a couple times a year to do that, but he's pretty good at it.
Phil's great.
He is really one of the nice fellas and the more talented fellas in the business.
We're playing baseball together Thursday night.
Oh, that's right. Old-time baseball game.
Baseball. Phil, real athlete.
Is he better than you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's not saying much, but yeah. Phil's an athlete.
He is an athlete. I was talking to him the other night. He's getting ready for flag football coaching for the kids. We were talking about maybe playbook and things, and maybe having some audibles at the line of scrimmage and some.
He spotted a target there.
Little Statue of Liberty play, maybe.
Yeah.
A little trickery.
So Kyle Williams there with a catch. Kyle Williams, who definitely in the mix for the most notable storyline at wide receiver this summer, alongside Kayshon Boutte. Kyle Williams, 3rd-round pick, going to be part of the offense. Vrabel's telling us it's our job to get him the ball and his speed. And a couple days later, he's like, I told you guys, speed. You see that in practice, see that speed. Yeah, we know he's fast. Is he good, would be my question. How'd Kyle Williams perform in the preseason opener?
He was good. Also,
was
playing against backups, so you should be good. As a 3rd-round pick last year with all the physical tools in the world. To me, I'm not trying to instantly downplay the touchdown. Touchdown was nice. That release off the line, instantly open. The play where Mike Vrabel had to instantly coach him on the sidelines and say, "Hey, Kyle, when the ball's underthrown, the way it works in the NFL is if you come back to it, you're going to get a flag 100% of the time."
Yeah.
How do you not know that? How is that not your instinct? That is, I equate it to 50% of the deep passing game. You want to have a completion, but if not, you want to get that underthrown PI, which is a gimme in the NFL these days.
Especially for a guy who's going to make his name with speed and is probably going to make his name at times down the field and running those routes and trying to get an advantage or getting value out of those routes, even if you're not wide open, just catching it. I said to you off air when coming in, he kind of gave him the Randy Moss treatment, like, that ball wasn't even worth my effort. I'm just going to keep jogging and kind of show you up and show the world how bad a throw. And it was a bad throw. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was a bad throw because it was not some back shoulder throw. It was just bad.
Vrabel described it as grossly underthrown,
yes,
I believe.
Yes. So, but that doesn't, I mean, your job is to try to maximize the play in any way you can. That kind of reminded me of, was it Polk? Was it Jalen Polk who had the feet situation a couple of years ago, didn't get his feet down?
It was Boutte to start the year, his rookie year, remember? Against the Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 against the Eagles and then didn't play for 8 weeks.
And I feel like sometimes these are like a light into the instincts, the football IQ, and just feel like a guy that's not really going to maximize what he is. So,
yeah. Well, that's the thing, because Kyle Williams has every physical tool you could want. I have no questions about whether he's more physically gifted than the Colts backups.
Right.
The issue with him last year was he was not with the program. He was not on schedule. He was not on the right page with the quarterback, who had a completion percentage over 70, but when thrown to Kyle Williams was under 50 because he was never in the right spot. He never knew what to do. That's the challenge for him, and I don't think that a preseason showing like the other night changes the outlook on that.
Before we go back to the phone lines, what were your thoughts on the wide receiver position in general? You had Mac Hollins out there.
Playing a lot.
which I think some people immediately kind of antenna go up. Oh, Mac Hollins playing a lot in a preseason game where A.J. Brown, Drake May, those guys aren't out there. Is he in trouble?
So you have to at least be open to it because
I don't.
Remember last year? I mean, he should be on the team. I think if you ask me what was going on, I think Mac Hollins is a good veteran leader and took on this responsibility. He's like, I'll play. I'll go out there, and like that's a rare thing in the NFL with a 32 going on 33-year-old with 150 NFL games, 8 years of experience to be like, yeah, I'll go out and play in the preseason opener.
And didn't he have his spleen explode or what happened last year?
A lacerated spleen.
Yeah.
And then he played.
Coach,
through
I'm not
it,
playing.
And he played through it. He came back.
Yeah, those
early.
are real games, though.
Yeah, he came back for the AFC Championship game and played that and the Super Bowl with a lacerated spleen. So he's a tough guy. He's a strong guy. But I think if you were to ask me what's really going on, that's what I think. However, you go back to last year, you had Kyle Duggar out there playing into the bitter end of some of these preseason games. You had, I always say Julius, you had Jabril Peppers playing games where no other starters were.
Where'd those guys go?
Peppers didn't make it into the season. Duggar, you traded away after a month. So you have to at least, everyone's doing the roster crunch and they're saying trade booty, trade booty. I do think I would not trade Hollins. I think Hollins was being a good leader by being out there. However, there are too many wide receivers. He played a lot. That generally doesn't bode well. You have to at least be open to it.
Yeah, we've spent all our time talking about Booty or Kyle Williams or Efton Chisholm. Should we spend just a little bit of time on Mac Hollins? Are they shopping him, showcasing him, or maybe they don't value him as much as we do? Although I would find that weird because on the field value and versatility, emotional value and versatility, relationship with Josh McDaniels, going back to there's layers to why I think he should be valued. So even though we should probably just acknowledge it, I still think he's on this football team.
I agree, but you do. That's all we're doing. We're acknowledging it so that if something does come up, you don't say, wow, that's the first I ever heard of it. I listened to Hurley and Hart on August 15th, and they set me straight.
That's absolutely right. Let's see if Michael in Uxbridge can set us straight. What's up, Michael?
Hey, guys. How are you? And I don't think your comments about the interior offensive line were in any way trivial. They were bad when they had Ben Brown, who's basically a waiver wire type. Vera Tucker, complete question mark. They should have drafted a guard higher up. They didn't. And I think that situation now is absolutely perilous. If Onwenu happened to get hurt, they're in deep trouble. And that's not their only problem either. The edge is a complete question as well. And tight end, if Henry gets hurt, they don't have anything but rookies. This is bad personnel management, in my opinion. On the plus side, Lan Larison can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to be, I think, a good contributor if they use him. And my last quick comment, if they cut Efton Chisholm, I hope he goes on and has what he should have in New England, a Wes Welker, or maybe somewhat less of a career, because he gets open and he catches everything. Thanks a lot, guys, for the opportunity.
Thanks, Michael. So Efton Chisholm is a borderline Pro Football Hall of Famer, because that's what Wes Welker was. You ready to go there?
I'm not. I like Chisholm.
Yeah.
I don't love him.
Yeah, I don't either.
I wouldn't shed a tear. Everyone sort of sees to have, and I get it. He's probably a little more versatile. Probably can give you some special teams contributions that you wouldn't get out of, say, Kyle Williams.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about that.
I think you could get him on the practice squad.
I
I don't
do
think
too.
it's a lock you'd lose him.
Yeah, you would definitely lose Williams if you were to put him on waivers.
Yes.
You would 80% have a chance to put Chisholm on your practice squad.
Yeah.
Because teams are doing the same thing. There aren't many teams out there that are like, boy, we have 3 wide receivers. We're going to scoop up anyone that gets cut loose.
Right.
So, yeah, I wouldn't put him there. The interior, though, is a problem. You know what the worst play of the night was that deep shot from Tommy DeVito to Cameron Dorner. Great play, except James Hudson just went out and found a linebacker 5 yards into the he just moved up the field. He was like, it looked like a running play. And it was one of the worst plays of the night, I think, by any Patriot.
They had a few of those that I think are the reason Vrabel was so pissy after the game. I don't even think it was necessarily just the missed kicks. Okay, that's a physical thing.
Chisholm had a block in the back.
You had a field goal attempt where you only had 10 guys on the field and you had to call timeout.
That was after a bad first half, and at halftime they're like, guys, clean it up, button it up, and then it's the opening drive of the second half, and you got 10 guys on the field for the field goal.
I think those are the things, because that reflects on coaching. That reflects on preparation. That reflects on being ready. You know how they always say for the backup quarterback, like Morton, is he able to run the play? Forget about whether it's a successful play. Can he line up, get the snap count, get the call, run the play? They couldn't do that a few times, and it was. I think that was part of the reason that Mike Vrabel wasn't overly happy. The tight end situation he talked about, though, I kind of like Reardon.
He looked good. He looked big. He looked fluid.
I don't want to see him be leaned on to do anything.
Yep.
But if the offense is just like A.J. Brown's doing his thing and Dobbs is doing his thing, and the backfield you got Henderson, I feel like if he's like your fourth or fifth option on a play, he might have some nice catches, catch and run opportunities. He looks like he's smooth to me.
Yeah, and with rookies, sometimes you see them come in, and when it's different when they're in a game, and you see them, and you're like, he's got to bulk up a little. He doesn't quite look. He looks the part.
Absolutely,
he looks big enough, strong enough, quick enough. Again, I don't think he's going to have 1,000-yard season or anything, but
he makes a couple plays.
The question for me, like, he answered a ton of physical questions that you wonder about with any rookie. The question is going to be how much of that playbook can he master, because it's a complicated thing to learn tight end in the NFL when you're coming from college. Went to Notre Dame, so you're pretty smart, right?
Right. But also he wasn't, some of these guys that take a little time, Cole Kmet or another Notre Dame guy, you draft him in the first round, so you're expecting a pretty quick return on investment.
Right.
He's kind of, you kind of need him because he's all you got behind Hunter Henry, but you didn't invest a first-round pick in him. You're not starting him at tight end. You're just, give me some contributions, kid, along the way. Be somewhat prepared if we need to throw you out there and get some production out of you.
Top
right?
100 pick, so not a throwaway, but yeah, you hope for it. I wasn't expecting that much, but I think he increased the floor that I expect this season.
All right, another top 100 pick that we need to get Michael Hurley's thoughts on. Gabe Akis. He's out there. He's doing things. He's getting noticed, and they need edge rushers. Does that mean he's ready for a big rookie season? That and your phone call, 617-779-0985. Hart and Hurley on a Saturday.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Now with Richardson under some pressure, rolling to his right, he pumps and he moves upfield, slips an ankle tackle, but then he's brought down by Akis. Good effort by the rookie, tracking him down along the near sideline, making the diving tackle to prevent a first down, and that's a run of 8 for Richardson.
That is Gabe Akis' game in a nutshell. Trying to bull rush the tackle on the right side of the offensive line, pushes the guy almost into the quarterback's lap. Quarterback is forced to then leave the pocket, try to pick up some yardage with his legs. Akis turns around. The engine never stops running with this guy and tracks him down from behind to save a first down.
Gabe Akis with a highlight play. But is that the story of his night, or did we kind of movie poster that? Michael Hurley, Gabe Akis, I think, is going to get plenty of opportunities to win a role with this team. They have limitations on the edge. You've probably heard Harold Landry's still not practicing, and even once he's practicing, who knows, after the way things tailed off last year, what he's going to be able to offer you. You bring in Jones this offseason. You got my guy Ponder, who I'm still hopeful of, but I got to tell you, my prediction of 10 sacks, I'm feeling slightly less confident in as the weeks go on here in the preseason. But Gabe Akis, good, typical up and down debut. What'd you think of Gabe Akis?
Well, just to add into what you were saying, I don't know if you caught the news today, Draymond Jones departed practice early.
I saw that. Do we have a clarification as to why?
We do not. But that
physically not available, Vrabel said.
Physically unavailable, which is not great. That's a position they have no depth whatsoever. Like, their starters might not be considered starting caliber.
Their starters are backups.
So not a great situation. I think Akis, like everyone else, to me, he looks the part. He looks like he's ready to play in the NFL. I think you saw some plays. You saw some ups. You saw some downs. I think his best play was obviously pushing the right tackle into Anthony Richardson to force the high throw, which helped get the interception. It sort of speaks to what you said earlier, where you can defend the pass in two ways. You can pressure or you can defend. Yeah. They pressured that one, which is good, but we didn't see really any pass rushing moves. We saw him sort of fall for the option, read option, which is a pretty big part of that job when you have a quarterback like Anthony Richardson back there. So to me, he looked like a rookie, and I'm not going to say he's doomed. I'm not going to say he's great. I just think you're going to have those learning opportunities. And Vrabel spoke about it today. He said when you talk to rookies, basically like, hey, when you get out there, it's going to be faster. And I think it was for him. I know we're not on it yet, but I think Caleb Lomu's in the same bucket where made some plays, didn't look completely overwhelmed, but certainly had some ups and certainly had some downs.
So Akis, obviously he's playing catch up because he got here late, signed late, has the knee issue, all of those things. He looks the part. Everyone has said it. I agree. He looks the part, but Keon White looked the part. There's been guys come through here that look the part, but do they play the part?
There's already, and just locally in the media, there's already been a lot of, how does he compare to Keon White? Because Keon White is sort of the I don't know the right word for it, but he looked the part. He was a big, mean guy.
Yes, he was.
He could bull rush a tackle back into a quarterback in the preseason. But I remember last summer, they were in Minnesota, and Phil Perry, who you heard there on the call, was reporting from joint practices saying he does not have any pass rushing moves. And he didn't. And they traded him. I don't think he did anything with the Niners.
Nope.
I'd be surprised if he does do anything because just raw strength, brute strength doesn't really get you to the quarterback in the NFL.
Now, the difference is I always thought that White was more of like a D-tackle tweener almost, like maybe at best a sub-interior rusher, whereas I think Akis, you're hoping he can be a third down guy, like an edge guy, use his athleticism and length. I just think there looks to be a developmental aspect to him that obviously the development didn't start right away, and now you're kind of trying to play catch-up. That is the one thing that makes me feel good about Ponder having a chance is because I'm not sure Akis is going to be ready to just take every snap by the throat and maximize it.
That is the ultimate picture of their depth or lack thereof is Elijah Ponder, an undrafted rookie last year who played 200 snaps maybe on defense, maybe 300. Just on the sideline like an experienced veteran.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, no, you're the starter. You're good. Just go rest. A guy that by any other standard needs developmental reps in the preseason is just, now you're part of the starting group.
You mentioned him, the first-round pick, Lomu, who we think is your swing tackle first and foremost, but you also previously mentioned a lack of depth at guard, a Ben Brown. Is he going to – I don't believe we've seen much, if at all, of Lomu at guard, but it's been sort of bandied about as a possibility. Is that, now it's time to force him into some reps there to see if he's an option as a backup on the inside?
I feel like there's a lot at play there. If you're first-round pick tackle – you want to be a team guy, right?
Yeah.
You know that you get two starting tackles. Are you also like, well, I want to stunt my own personal development by learning a new position?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know Caleb Lomu. Maybe he will. But to me, you saw a guy out there Thursday night thinking a lot. You could see the processing. And that's, again, speaks to Vrabel's talk about how much it speeds up on you in a game situation. So do you want to add to that mental load of, all right, this is what we do here. This is how you play the position you know. This is how you play on the other side, too, by the way. So you got to have both of those. And you know what? We are really thin on the interior, so sorry, buddy, but you got to learn those two. To me, that feels like too much for any rookie to take on. I don't know. I'm not in a position to say Lomu can or cannot do it, but to me, it feels like too much.
It does seem like you're asking him too much, putting too much on his plate. Now, they know his mental makeup better than we do and how intelligent he is and how easy a transition it would be. And again, it's been talked about, but I also think you have the concerns of, and I guess Marcus Bryant, maybe him having a good summer would help you make that transition if you feel comfortable with Marcus Bryant being the swing tackle and him taking over for Moses if Moses suddenly looked old or had a knee issue or anything like that.
Isn't there there's so much more to playing the interior when it comes to pulling, when it comes to,
oh, yeah.
You have a lot more responsibilities. Obviously, I don't think he's going to touch the football. So you're just talking about guard. There's just so much more to it that you have to play tackle generally. If it's a pass play, you kind of know what you're doing. You kind of know that in the interior too, but it's just the run game is so much more complicated. And then you've got to learn, instead of learning your chunk of the playbook and understanding it X percentage, you've got to increase that by 30% in 3 weeks' time. It feels like a lot.
Okay, you know what?
And he didn't go out there and look like a road grader or anything. He looked like a rookie.
Yeah. Oh no, he is a rookie. He's absolutely a rookie and playing the position he knows is tackle. That is a position he doesn't know. You're adding that. I'm kind of with you that I think that would be a little bit unfair, but sometimes you need to do things for the betterment of the football team that aren't necessarily fair to the individual. 617-779-0985. We'll continue to take your phone calls on the Patriots preseason, Christian Gonzalez contract situation, but we need to talk about the Boston Red Sox. I think a week ago we poo-pooed Rob Parker when Rob Parker said the Red Sox weren't going to make the playoffs, and he was always going to keep winning like this. Well, there's still projected 92% chance to make the playoffs, but the Boston Red Sox have lost 6 of 7, and they've started to have questions on the pitcher's mound. Jake Bennett, starting to fade a little bit late in the year. And did the clock strike midnight this week in Toronto with a play that looks like, I got to say it, Alex Cora's Red Sox were back on the field. We need to talk about Alex Cora's Red Sox, a team that is forgetting certain things that are important to winning baseball and not winning a lot of baseball games. We pivot to the Red Sox next, but first, we got some headlines from Michael Hurley.
Dutcher and Hardy, Owen Beetle, Felger and Mass, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Pats, the Revolution. This is Boston's home for sports. WBC FM at HD Boston, 98.5 The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Former Celtics head coach Doc Rivers is on his way to Springfield as we speak. He'll be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame tonight. The big three of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen set to introduce him. That's nice. Also in this induction class, Amari Stoudemire, former Gonzaga coach Mark Few, and NBA referee Joey Crawford. Why not? The Red Sox, they'll try to shake off a series opening loss to the Pirates tonight. Sonny Gray will get the ball for Boston. First pitch set for 7:15 in Pittsburgh. And in the NFL, cornerback Devin Witherspoon signed a contract extension with the Seahawks. The deal that was assumed to be a necessity for Christian Gonzalez to get down to business with the Patriots. Gonzalez, by the way, missed practice today due to injury, according to Mike Vrabel. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Colossal Lobster Rolls at the 99, made with tender North Atlantic lobster with fries and coleslaw. Served hot buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery. You gotta love the nines. I'm Michael Hurley. More Hart and Hurley coming right up.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub. When it comes to Boston sports, we're fans just like you. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Montgomery's 3-2. Swing and a miss. That ends it. Red Sox with a threat at the end, but they come up with an 8-4 loss to the Pirates. So the Red Sox have dropped 4 games on this road trip. And will really rely on Sonny Gray tomorrow here in Game 2.
I haven't seen many of these. Actually, haven't at all from Jake Bennett. It's the first time he failed to go 5. Gave up 4. Giovanni came in, big 2-out homer. That changed the whole game for Brandon Lau. Made it 7-2. You fought back, but just not enough. And now you hand the ball to Sonny Gray. I'm going to go out there and get you a W.
Pirates were so excited they really lit off a lot of fireworks there.
Tells you they don't win a lot of games if they're shooting that off for a win in August.
That's what I'm guessing is
goodness.
It's kind of like a 50-50 raffle or something. Like it keeps building and building and building, and then they finally got to shoot some fireworks. So like, hell, use all the ones we didn't use over the last 3 weeks. Just unload it. It sounded pretty cool, and they were happy to win.
I've seen Super Bowls with less celebration than that.
But the Red Sox lose to the Pirates, continue to lose to less than good baseball teams, I would say.
You don't want to use the term I used in the email today?
Bad?
The ass of the league?
Oh, yeah.
Is that fair?
It's not appropriate.
I mean, the A's...
Saturday, the kids are in the car.
The A's are neck and neck with the
language.
Angels for being the worst team in the league. The Blue Jays down in the dumps, 4th place in the AL East. And now you have the Pirates been relevant for...
Nope. The answer is no.
They made the playoffs briefly a couple times, but they've just been irrelevant for pretty much my entire life.
Their relevance is based around one starting pitcher who has one hot girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't want to sound any alarms, but Paul Skeens seems to think he's not suffering from anything. He can't throw hard anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's up on that.
He doesn't look like he's in the best shape either. Those photos making the rounds at the beach. Far be it for me to body shame someone, but
I'm in no position to comment on his beach photos.
he's got a bit of a dad bod, and I don't believe he's a dad or old enough to even really be in that range of his life of dad bod.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be on the verge of signing, one of these $500 million type starting pitcher contracts.
I blame the Pirates for draining the want to out of his life. He must be like, man, what's the point? I'm on the Pirates.
Who do you blame for the Red Sox suddenly not being a good baseball team? And I alluded to it in Toronto. 1 out, fly ball to center. Both Red Sox runners on first and third just start sprinting their asses off. Apparently we can say it. If Hurley can say it, I can say it. Only they didn't know how many outs there were. And now, to be fair, the Blue Jays pitcher and catcher also didn't know, and the umpires didn't know what the hell was going on, and it led to one of the longest, weirdest delays in baseball history because they actually scored a run because they were so aggressive, which was weird. They benefited.
Okay. All right, here's the deal. That was what the umpire started. He's like, all right, listen.
We're going to go to New York so they can tell us the deal.
Okay. It's like a talk show.
That felt to me like and now it's even more so that they've lost 6 of 7 here. Like, was that the clock striking midnight? Was that what Rob Parker was talking about? Was this team that was winning baseball games as we watched it and said, are they really this good? Should they really be winning 15 in a row and then 9 in a row? And even though I did the rundown a couple weeks ago, this isn't a short sample, 75 games. 75 games they were the best team in baseball. They no longer look like the best team in baseball. What's going on here?
Well, because remember, we did Saturday and Sunday last week. So Saturday we talked, coming off the Friday night, Peyton Tolley could have set the strikeout record, but they didn't have to. So they took everything was going right. And then I went home Saturday, and you watch that game, and you're kind of like, eh. And then we did the show Sunday morning, and you watch that game Sunday, and you're like, this team with Jaron Duran and Connor Wong won all those games. And it sort of started to make sense. So I think the winning was disproportionate to how good they were.
Yes, fair.
I think the losing earlier in the season was disproportionate to how bad they are. Now they're doing that again. It's like everything has to be a complete extreme. Like they are slightly better than mediocre as a baseball team because they have a really good pitching staff. They have good defense. I think they have a bad lineup. They should be 500 or, plus or minus 5 games. They're either winning 27 out of 30 or losing 6 out of 7 to bad teams.
Right.
Can't they just win? Like, split that series in Toronto? Why do you have to lose the first 3? It's sort of a maddening season where they can't find a level. I thought they'd find the level after the great winning ended, but instead they're just going back to the other extreme.
And I mentioned it, Jake Bennett, not great. He's been definitely trending in the wrong direction, and that's been a concern for us. Young pitchers reaching their innings maxes. What are you going to get? Now, Chad Tracy poo-pooed that last night. He said the velocity's still there. He just left a couple like change-ups, too much plate, middle type stuff.
And the Pirates do. I think they're third in the league in hitting and runs. So they'd hit. And the issue last night, they ended up putting a 4th on the board in the 9th. You got to score. I mean, that pitching staff is horrible in Pittsburgh.
So one of the stories about why you should be better over the final stretch of the season here, or at least 500, because we all kind of assess just be a 500 baseball team and you're going to go to the playoffs, you'll take care of your business, you created a nice cushion. One of the reasons you thought they'd be better is they were aggressive at the trade deadline, and they went and got an MVP caliber catcher, Adley Rutschman. What's that face you're making over there when I say MVP caliber catcher? 1 of 11, 5 strikeouts? Is that concerning?
Has he gotten the ball out of the infield yet? I don't have a track of all 11 of his at-bats, but he doesn't look very good.
Well, I can tell you 5 of them he didn't because he struck out.
Okay.
So that's 5 we removed from the 11 right there.
And by look very good, I mean, I know Adley Rutschman, the player. I'm saying right now, in this moment, coming off the wrist injury, having had 2 rehab starts, he doesn't look up to speed. Now, he didn't miss that much time. He missed 2 weeks, I want to say.
Yep.
Has not exactly looked the part in the lineup as a 3-hitter for a team that really needed him to be immediately.
And hasn't even, because we talked about it, putting him in the 3-hole, it's not like he's a 330 hitter with, going to go on this run and hit a bunch of home runs. Like, he's a fine hitter for a catcher. The value of him needs to be more tough to quantify, right? But they're not winning with him. So you can't quantify it in the win total. Can't quantify it with his batting average. You can't quantify it with putting the ball in play or any of those traditional numbers. And the pitching staff, There's some concerns that some of it's going in the wrong direction, and that's him working with a pitching staff. I will say I think he's pretty good at the ABS thing.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Pretty good at the ABS thing.
He's a good catcher. He's a great catcher. Hitter? I haven't seen it yet. And he's obviously trended in the wrong direction the last couple of years. You don't need him to be, a 900 OPS guy. He has looked unable to lift the ball, to hit the ball with power. He just looks out of sorts. I don't know whether that's physical, whether that's timing, whether it's whatever, but these games matter. And
yes, they do.
He has not made a good first impression in his first week.
Now, I did say it, and I want to reiterate it. According to ESPN, which, take it for what it's worth, Celtics had a 99.999% chance to beat the Heat a couple of years ago. They didn't. The Red Sox have a 92.6% chance to make the playoffs. They still have, let me click on the wild card, 5.5 game lead for the second wild card spot. There's a bunch of teams chasing you, Twins, Tigers, Rangers, Blue Jays, Baltimore, not exactly great baseball teams that are chasing you. Are they going to get hot? Is one of those teams going to chase you down? Probably not. I still think Rob Parker's wrong, but you don't want to limp into the postseason. You don't want to say, wow, we were really good in July, and not look like you're a good baseball team heading into late September. So another option on the horizon, I don't know if you look west, out there to Worcester, you got a Trevor Story locker sighting. Sounds like Trevor Story is going to be in the lineup for the Woo Sox on Sunday. Does that excite you?
Nope.
That's all you got.
Doesn't do a lot for me. I mean, he's a big league player.
Are you sure he's a big league player at this point?
The numbers speak. Just the GP says yes.
Okay.
Doesn't do a lot for me. I don't think. And we talked about it last week. Would love to see him as a second baseman.
Yeah.
If he's going to join this team, they need stability there. Now, granted, does that mean I need Monasterio as a shortstop? Not necessarily, but something about Story in that shortstop spot just feels like we've had the baseball player discussion, right? He's like I'm a baseball. Yeah. That's my job. That's my position. It's like, well, whatever, move over, buddy.
Right.
You aren't yourself, and you aren't what you used to be. Can you be a part of this team and adapt? Because you're not that guy anymore. I actually don't know that about Trevor Story. I'd be surprised if he's okay with that, but we'll see.
So is Michael Hurley concerned about the Boston Red Sox? Are you concerned with the trend, the offense, the young pitching, whatever it may be? Are you concerned?
Concerned that they're going to fall out of a playoff spot? Not really. But I do think this was a reality check where people last week, and I don't blame anyone for doing this when they weren't losing for the entire summer, to start having World Series dreams, to start having all these, they could catch the Rays in the division. What's that now, 10, 11 games? I think that part, was unrealistic, and people were getting carried away. And again, I'm not laughing at anyone. Why not? I think this was a reality check that the roster is what the roster is, and when the pitching isn't perfect, you're going to lose more often than you win. And I think a disappointing part is you lose the first 3 games in Toronto. And again, we don't have to get into the deep fourth out rule, but why does Nick Sogard not know how many outs there are? He knows that he wasn't out on a line drive because he hit the ball and is standing on first base.
Correct.
He knew there was 1 out when he was batting. If anyone should know the outs, it should be the guy that was batting with 1 out, hit a grounder that some people thought was caught, but then was standing on first base after.
Right.
Crazy.
Also, they have base coaches.
Yeah.
They do have 2 guys, one positioned right near one of your runners and one positioned right near the other runner, who that's their job. So I don't care what that big screen says.
Yeah.
They should not be relying on that. That means you weren't paying attention to the game if you look up and rely on that.
And I'm not trying to brag. I knew how many outs there were.
Me too.
I wasn't watching. I was probably on my phone. I knew there was 1 out.
The flip side of that is I did not know anything about the 4th out timing rule that allowed you to score. And
To be fair, though, the NESN and the Toronto broadcast, they weren't messed up the way the Toronto scoreboard and the stadium was messed up.
Well, so, the MLB's play-by-play ruled line drive, double play, which made no sense because there was runners on the corners and there was runners on the corners. So just people screwed up. But I just think overall, no. But again, you kind of have to win tonight. Can you start there? Beat the Pirates in Pittsburgh, win that series because the Diamondbacks are coming. They're a pretty good team. Then the Giants are coming, and they're not a very good team. But there's that whole Devers thing. I don't know if Meyer will be up by then. But there's going to be a whole lot of side stories to that you'd rather not factor in. Then you go to Miami, also an irrelevant team. And then you have a series with the Yankees. So you have a pretty big 2 weeks here where, a month ago we were doing this and we were saying, and if you're here for the trade deadline, you do that. Those days are gone. It's August. This is what you are. You might have these supplemental things. We can talk about Roman Anthony, but I wouldn't look to him as a savior. I think this team needs to hit better. I don't know if they have the talent to do that.
They don't have a savior. They have to do what they were doing for the stretch of games that made them the best team in baseball, or I won't say the best team, but the winningest team in baseball.
Look at the one game they won this week. You had their best hitter laying down a sacrifice bunt.
Right. That's what you have to be. Right. Timely hitting. They talk about moving the train or, whatever it is. That's who they are. They can't just sit back and wait for, Roman Anthony on this gallop into Fenway Park on this white horse, and I'm going to bat leadoff, and I'm going to be on base at a 4-something clip, and I'm going to hit home runs, and I'm the guy with Judge at the WB. No, you're not going to have that guy this year. So if you're going to win, it's going to be the scrappy 4A Boston Red Sox that Chad Tracy's led so far this year.
Caleb Durbin with 9 fingers, cranking grand slams.
Cutting his batting glove because it's so swollen.
Because he takes it personally every time you intentionally walk the guy in front of him. Like, that is sort of the trademark of the winning. You're right. It needs to be there. And again, the fact that Contreras laid down the sac bunt was unheard of for the Boston Red Sox for pretty much my whole life.
Yep.
The 3 or 4 hitter, the best hitter in a spot where you have an RBI opportunity is just like, nope, we're laying it down. Almost beat it out too. But then you go to last night and the bad send, get him thrown out the plate. Like, a lot of the things that plagued them early, they come back in a rush. And it's again, I think the biggest takeaway, it's a reality check. They are not as good as that run said they were. I think they still have a long way to go before you can actually compete. But to me, like, you want to talk about a goal? Getting the first wild card is a significant difference. How much more do you like their chances if you can send Peyton Tolley on the mound at Fenway?
Yep.
Going against Cam Schlittler in Yankee Stadium.
Absolutely. But I'm with you. I'm worried. Not that they're going to miss the playoffs. It's exactly that they're going to make the playoffs and then just get exposed looking like non-playoff Yes. And then all of a sudden it's over and I got myself worked up for nothing and talked myself into their playoff baseball.
You do the whole year and you're like, all right, playoff baseball. And then you open up Twitter and you're like, batting leadoff, Nick Sogard? You're like, oh.
I'll see myself out like Homer Simpson.
Yoshida batting second. All right, you know what? It was a good run.
617-779-0985. How you feeling about your Red Sox? They've lost 6 of 7. Did it strike midnight in Toronto when they didn't know how many outs there were? Was that the old Red Sox creeping back into the clubhouse? We also have a couple little things I want to touch on. And I told you guys this. I don't think you guys are as excited as I am about this. But this whole Jaden Daniels thing. And I've used him as a cautionary tale for Drake May and Patriots fans on a lot of levels. Hopefully this is not part of the cautionary tale that we have to worry about with Drake May moving forward. Have you seen what Jaden Daniels did, what he was mad about, and how social media has reacted? We're going to dive into that. More than 5 minutes worth next here. 98.5 The Sports Hub, Hart and Hurley on a Saturday afternoon.
Boston's home for sports.
Be able to capitalize off every gain from your name, image, and likeness. And if you're associated with LSU and won a Heisman Trophy, then that's included in that as well. I also think LSU, like, if you know for a fact this guy meant so much to your program and your organization, why give out number 5? Like, I don't understand why would you do that? Because I also feel like everyone who has won a Heisman Trophy, in which there's only been 91 Heisman Trophy winners, only one 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, that was Archie Griffin at Ohio State. You deserve to have your number retired. I think also, I don't think anyone should be rocking that number, or nor should an equipment manager be giving that number out, basing it off what you were able to do on the football field alone and what you meant to that program.
That was Harry Douglas on ESPN. So this is one of the more entertaining stories I've seen in this modern social media where, I'll be honest, a lot of time Twitter and Instagram annoy me, and I hate that we have to deal with them and, like, what does it mean, and googly eyes and blah, blah, blah. Oh, he unfollowed. Did you see he unfollowed his team or this and that? All that. Hate it. So Jaden Daniels, or his team, he's put it off on his team. He has answered questions about this and said he's focused on football and that's my team doing certain things. Basically was upset that DJ Pickett, did I get the name right there?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
DJ Pickett, cornerback at LSU, is wearing number 5, which a lot of people want to clarify right away. He plays defense. So they haven't given it out on offense. And a lot of college football teams have two players wearing the same number. There's a kid on offense, a kid on defense.
There's 600 people on a college football roster.
And every once in a while, like I think I was watching a Notre Dame game where they had a screw up where they were penalized because you can't have them both on the field at the same time. And there was like a special teams play and they got a 15-yard penalty for it.
I remember when Manti Te'o was one of the best college players in the country. He wore, 5, I want to say? There was a running back that also wore 5.
So they have given out number 5, and he is mad about it. His agents and lawyers have gotten involved, and they want them to stop basically using his name, image, and likeness and selling things. And he wants the Joe Burrow treatment. That's been thrown out there because no one has worn Burrow since he won the Heisman and the national title. Anyone who's watched those two guys at LSU knows that Joe Burrow had one of the special seasons in the history of the game. Undefeated, national title, cigar smoking, finished the whole story. Jaden Daniels did not do that. He was really good at LSU. He earned the Heisman Trophy. Oh, he also, I believe, asked for his Heisman Trophy back, which since then I've read doesn't actually belong to him. They give the school a copy of the Heisman Trophy. The Downtown Athletic Club, the group that gives out the Heisman, gives the college a Heisman Trophy to, put in their trophy case and promote and all of that. He asked for it back.
Are you, I just want to clarify, are you downplaying LSU's win over Wisconsin in the ReliaQuest Bowl?
A little bit.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I've never heard of ReliaQuest.
Well, now you have. And Jaden
I'm
Daniels,
guessing there's a chance they're out of business, that they spent all their money on a bowl game and didn't make it, because I've never heard of them.
Jaden Daniels didn't even play in that one. So, but he got them there.
He did. So the best part of this, though, isn't him making himself look like a dink. And in case you don't know, his mother is sort of his...
Everything?
Yeah, I don't even know what you call it. Handler, right-hand man.
Shadow?
Shadow, controls everything with him. But the reaction has been even better. Everybody on social media has jumped on the bandwagon of jokes about 5 belonging to Jaden Daniels. Columbia football put out a picture with the yard lines and out of respect for Jaden Daniels, we don't have 5-yard line markers because that belongs to him. 5-Hour Energy is being rebranded as 4-Hour Energy because it belongs to. And
StubHub will no longer be selling tickets in groups of 5.
Right, you got to buy 4 or 6. You can't buy 5 seats on StubHub in honor of Jaden Daniels. He owns 5.
I saw the Mets too posted their post game graphics that they said we stopped at 4 runs out of respect for Jaden Daniels.
Am I wrong? I can't remember anything like this. I can't remember a unit. Maybe in a different way, the Coldplay thing. There were a lot of memes or tweets or whatever off of that, but that was a little different. That was the event, and this is a guy who 2 years ago was leading the Washington Commanders out of the misery of decades to the NFC Championship game. He was the next big, great thing at the quarterback position in the National Football League. He was what you wanted guys to be. He's what you wanted Drake May to be, right? The guy who turns around the franchise and takes you to the promised land and, women want to be with him and men want to be him kind of thing, to steal the Ric Flair line. And now he's maybe the biggest laughingstock in sports for this very moment.
Yeah, and at this point, I don't know, who was it that we played coming in?
Harry Douglas.
Harry Douglas.
In my eye.
Have you ever in your life, let's peel back the curtain a little bit. Fortunately, I've done a lot of talk shows and various platforms, different networks, everything. I've never been told you've got to take this stance. Did someone tell him he had to take that stance? Because how could you at any point stick up for this? It's that ridiculous. It's that absurd. And it's a point where I'm not going to be over dramatic and say this is a year where he's got to save his career, but it was a injury-plagued, bad second season after everyone anointed him the future.
Yep.
He needs everything, all of his energy, focus, attention, time, money, sleep, energy, everything has to be toward being better this year. Who's wearing what at LSU could not matter any less to his life right now.
And I'm guessing there is some truth to his comment about, that's my team and they handled that. He may have not even known.
Well, you said it earlier. You hire people.
That is true.
They do what you want them to do.
That is true. And then from the LSU side, they got in on it yesterday. They're practicing, obviously. They put out a photo gallery. You know what the first photo in the photo gallery was?
I have an idea.
DJ Pickett wearing number 5 in purple on the practice field, lined up opposite a wide receiver. And Lane Kiffin, who, yes, is now the head coach at LSU, in case you missed all that from Ole Miss last year, he says basically the reason they're doing it is because Brian Kelly promised DJ Pickett that he could wear 5. It was his high school number. They promised him he could wear 5. He didn't wear it last year, but they're just sort of fulfilling the promise that they thought he was due from recruitment. But this is one of the craziest social media-driven stories that I can remember in a long time. And you're dead right. Coming off the year he had last year, he should be in a bunker trying to rekindle the rookie magic, like rebuild the reputation and the winning and all of that. And it's going in the opposite direction. His Q rating has gone from the epitome of the young quarterback to, I don't know, about as low as you can get. I saw somebody that put a post up that Jaden Daniels, parentheses, mom said he couldn't, won't play in the preseason opener. Like, that's how bad it's gotten.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess you're just thankful that you got Drake May and he's not in that position right now. He's not bringing any sort of undue attention to him or the team or anything. I think
there, but the grace of God. What if Chad Ryland, changes history and you're picking 2?
If Chad Ryland hits that 35-yarder against the Giants, who
you
knows?
have Jaden Daniels.
But then again, he did hit that kick in Denver on Christmas. So giveth and taketh there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of what ifs. But yeah, no, I think, the ultimate story is going to be which of those quarterbacks works out best in the long run. I think we have our inclination here that it's going to be Drake May. I think nationally Caleb Williams probably gets more expectations there, but Daniels was the best as a rookie, and this isn't helping.
No.
I'm not too worried about that.
And we did mention it earlier. We're going to get to your phone call, 617-779-0985, when we're talking about Gonzalez. Next year, we might be watching the quarterbacks taken ahead of Drake May for this sort of inline quarterback re-sign. Now, who knows? This year will decide a lot. Drake May, if he's an MVP candidate again, might just catapult to the front of the QB line. But if Caleb Williams is the one that has the great year, now they've all three have had great years in their first 3 years. Like, it's going to be kind of interesting. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Frank in Boston with a thought on the Gonzalez situation. What's up, Frank?
Yeah, hi. I was the guy you referenced earlier in their show regarding the point about Gonzalez and his agent and what they want from this morning.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So without rehashing that conversation, because you heard it, let me start with where it sounds like we all agree. Now that the number and terms for Witherspoon are in, we have the parameters for a deal to happen, correct?
Potentially.
Okay. Now, if a deal does not happen in relatively short order and this thing continues to feel messy, that means one of two things. Either Gonzalez is asking for too much relative to the Witherspoon deal, or the Pats are offering too little relative to the Witherspoon deal.
This is a much more sane phone call than the one I heard on Gasper and Murray. So let's go. Proceed. I'm with you.
Okay, you're with me. Now, if you believe that Gonzalez is the problem, you have to believe that he is crazy enough to ask for terms that entirely reset the whole market and pay him substantially more than Witherspoon or any other CB has ever made. And he would think that the Pats, of all organizations, would be the team that rolls over and gives him that deal. And then at the same time, he'd be willing to risk over $100 million guaranteed at this point in his life when he's only in year 3 of his contract. I'm sorry. I find that impossible to believe that in the real world, this is what Gonzalez actually expects beyond what is going on as part of a negotiation. And if your retort is, well, that's not what Kern or Bedard is being told, I'm not disputing that's what they're being told, but that does not mean it's true, right? There's a difference between the two things. Personally, I find it really impossible to believe that Gonzalez expects at the end of the day that the Pats are going to be the team that's going to roll over and give him something outright crazy relative to anything else that's ever been done. And in the context of the Witherspoon deal, he's got to know there's no way that would ever happen, and I can't believe he expects that.
Thanks for the call, Frank. I don't disagree with almost anything Frank said, but he doesn't have to get it from the Patriots. He might be willing to be traded. If his goal is to remember when Jonathan Papelbon was talking about free agency and his goal was to reset the closer market, or you owe it to past and future generations to do your part sort of in the scale of contracts. If that's how Gonzalez looks at it, who said he has to play for the Patriots? He's just saying, I want to reset the cornerback market, wherever that may be. If he needs to be traded to do that, maybe that's fine with him if he's traded to do that. So
we have to have that conversation now? What would make that an acceptable move?
nothing. I mean, in light of our conversation, we're up against it. We'll get to that on the other side. Is trading Christian Gonzalez a possibility? What would it take to get there? And would that be acceptable for the 2026 Patriots coming off a trip to the Super Bowl, heading into another season with Drake May and a better offense on the horizon? Should we at least consider the possibility that Christian Gonzalez can be traded? Your phone call, 617-779-0985. Hart and Hurley on a Saturday, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. No matter what team, no matter what player, no matter what coach, no matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5.
If indeed Christian Gonzalez is asking for the moon, he's asking to reset the market. He wants 140 guaranteed. He wants $40 million a year. If wide receivers can make it, then damn it, we can make it to cover them running backwards. Does a trade have to be on the table? Would you be accepting of a trade? Sauce Gardner is the example. A little different because he got his contract and then was traded, but 2 first-round picks. I think that's what everybody has in their mind, right? If Sauce Gardner's worth 2 first-round picks, then Christian Gonzalez is worth 2 first-round picks. Is that on the table?
It shouldn't be. And maybe next year. It should be next year. Whatever this contract is, it shouldn't be that complicated that you have to trade the man. I think if next year you run into money problems where you've got to pay Drake May, maybe A.J. Brown wants a bump, maybe you run into these issues. Maybe next year it becomes an issue and you can do it before the draft. Doing it in August in a year where you should be primed to make a Super Bowl run, which is probably the extreme end, but you should be primed to compete in your division, which gets you into the tournament, which I don't think a great team is emerging from the AFC again. So I think it'll be very much the same where you have a puncher's chance to go on a run. Getting rid of your best defensive player, who you really, really need, it doesn't do it for me.
Feels Belichickian, though. For years, he would trade Deion Branch. Traded him away in a not too different situation if you don't really believe that Gonzalez is worth this massive, big #1 cornerback contract.
Branch is the one that would say, Belichick got credit for better a year too soon than a year too late. Branch was the one where it was sort of prime, homegrown.
Yep.
Contributor to multiple Super Bowls at that point. That one was probably the big mistake that sort of hung over the organization for a couple of years until they were like, you know what? Let's get Randy Moss and sort of change the whole culture. So you don't want to be invoking that. No, you don't have to. You just don't have to do it. Whatever it is this year, if you sign a deal you're uncomfortable with, there will be trade value next year. Assuming Gonzalez doesn't get significantly hurt this year, you'll be able to get that Sauce Gardner deal next year.
Yeah, I hope, honestly, that we are much ado about nothing. Like we're overanalyzing this just basically because there's no information out there.
Exactly.
And we're piecing everything together. And that in reality, it is close to what people have presumed. Oh, okay, that one got done, so now you have the parameters with which to do the deal with Gonzo. One other factor that I didn't mention, but I did want to mention is I do think if you're Gonzalez, one area, and I haven't done the research here, which is typical of me, but because Devin Witherspoon went 5th overall, I believe.
Yes.
So his initial NFL contract was larger than Gonzalez. So you're chasing money. And if you believe you're that much better than him, you might also include that in your mental calculation, right? Like, I'm playing catch up. I'm paying catch up there. I want you need to make good on the amount I didn't get as the 5th overall pick as opposed to, what was he, 17? Wherever Gonzalez
17,
went,
yeah.
17th overall pick. Maybe he thinks he's playing catch up. And we also know these guys, it's a measuring stick.
Yeah.
How good am I? It's a measuring stick. I'll show you how good I am. My paycheck's going to show you. It's respect, as Giselle would say. Appreciation.
I do wish we had some information because it would be much easier to gauge it. If it's 34, 35, then I think that's reasonable. Anything more than that, you're being unnecessarily complicated and it's going to cause an issue. You want to do the trade talk? How about real, actual, because they got one of those picks this year. It was Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon.
Okay.
Would that get you super excited?
No.
And then you have a first rounder next year from Indy.
No.
I don't think you're getting equal value there.
No. I think you hit, not the lottery, I guess. Drake May is probably the lottery, but you hit a nice scratch ticket, right? Like
Because remember, they took Emmanuel Forbes one pick before.
Yes.
The Washington Commanders
You
did.
needed a cornerback. You got value at cornerback.
You traded down from 15. Somehow knowing the Commanders would take the wrong guy.
Still, you should thank your blessed stars on that. And it's what we talked about. You drafted him. You developed him. Hell, if anything, he seems like he's much in line with the head coach, and their relationship has grown over the last year from where it was in August to be louder, be a leader. Do you want to be a captain? Remember we brought that up late in the year. He asked him, do you want to be a captain? So you're talking about the best corner, one of the best corners in football, the best defensive player on your football team, arguably could, if you wanted to say, he's the best player on your football team, who's taken on a bigger leadership role. Not that this matters, but has been a little more vocal with the media and had a little more confidence and comfort in dealing with the media and all of that. What's the reason that he's not going to be a happy Patriot on September 9th when they fly out to Seattle to, revisit his his battles with Jackson Smith and Jigba and the Seahawks? It just seems too logical. I'm coming back around. This will get done. I'm happy. Well, we did a nice job landing the plane there.
Red Sox are going to make the playoffs. Gonzalez is going to sign. I just incidentally had them going back to the Super Bowl apparently. So, this is the happy Saturday show.
He doesn't have Jaden Daniels' mother. He doesn't have LeVar Ball. We have no reason to believe that he is going to be pushed or led in some direction where he thinks he is different than every other cornerback.
Yeah.
That I'm better than that.
34 should do it.
Yeah,
30,
maybe 35, whatever. $2 million.
And then you're talking
and then if the Patriots, by the way, sorry to interrupt, if we find out he was happy, he would take $34 million and $103 guaranteed, and we find out the Patriots wouldn't do that. Well, now we got a problem in the other direction.
Exactly. And the guaranteed's the biggest thing, because for as much as you say, oh, that's a pretty big jump, it was a small jump in the guarantee. And I think that's the biggest thing. There was not because again, earlier even 2 weeks ago, a week ago, you're saying, how much are you going to have to guarantee? Is it 115? Is it 110? Well, apparently it might be 102. So I think that's a significant factor too. There's no excuse. How about that? Let's just end it there. There is no excuse for this deal on both sides not to get done somewhere in the 34 to 35 range per year, somewhere in the 102 to 104 guaranteed million. There's really no reason for both sides to not feel that's the right deal.
We've had a lot of numbers on this show. We both kind of acknowledge that we're not really analytics guys, not really necessarily numbers guys, but we've had so many numbers, I figure we finish out with numbers. You mentioned it in your headlines, Basketball Hall of Fame induction ceremonies tonight. What do you think the chances are that Jason Tatum is a future Basketball Hall of Famer? Well, I have a number for you for that, as well as others, including Jaylen Brown. And once again, the disrespect for Jaylen Brown is real, and it's in the numbers. We'll talk about that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98. Boston sports. Yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Michael Hurley, in your award-winning headlines, I heard you talk about Doc Rivers.
Hall of Famer getting inducted by the Big Three. Is that what you said? Yeah, they're going to introduce him, I think, give the little warm-up.
I think you gave a little editorial. Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it is nice. It was a good run.
It was a good run.
It's probably why
run or a dot.
It's why Doc Rivers is there.
Absolutely, and I saw he's always a Celtic or blah, blah, blah kind of thing. Probably says that everywhere he's ever been. So the Hall of Fame class, and I know we all look at the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield as they have kind of an open-door policy. A lot of guys get in, feels like. Gals, everybody, coaches, pretty much everybody that has a relatively impressive career in the sport of basketball gets in. So I found this interesting and timely today. The NBA Central account on Twitter, via information from Basketball Reference, percentage chance to make the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame probability. So, for example, there are 4 guys right now active in the NBA that they believe have a 100% chance to make the Hall of Fame. You want a hazard?
LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Who's 100%?
You got
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
And then James Harden, the beard.
Yeah, I mean, everyone gets in, so that makes sense.
And then they have Russell Westbrook, who just hung him up 99.93. They have Jokic, 99.88. Anthony Davis, 99.86. They really do let everybody in. Giannis is over 99. Lillard's over 99. It starts to go down from there. A lot of guys with high 90% chances because, that's the reality. So I figure around here, we have this ongoing comparison thing that we might as well keep going, even though we got rid of one of the guys, unceremoniously traded and dumped one of the guys. So Jason Tatum, what do you think his chances of making the Basketball Hall of Fame are, according to Basketball Reference?
Well, he's still too young to be 100%. So 75%.
59.61%. Feels low to me.
Feels low. He is a 6-time All-Star.
6-time All-Star. What does that mean?
5-time All-NBA.
5-time All-NBA, and he's got a ring.
And
he's a Hall of Famer.
According to Google, which gives you some questionable AI results.
Yeah.
If you make 7 All-Star teams, you are 100% guaranteed to get in. So this could be it for him.
Big year for him.
Big year for I mean, he's got 7 more cracks at it.
Big year.
I think I like his chances to make another All-Star team.
So if Jason Tatum has a 59.61% chance of making the Basketball Hall of Fame, what do you think the chances are Jaylen Brown is a Basketball Hall of Famer, according to Basketball Reference?
He's got another year of stats acquired.
Yep.
Actually, really like almost 2, because he had last year as well.
MVP finalist. He's got a ring. He's got a Finals MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. What do you think?
Should have a 40% chance.
How about 8.5% chance? 8.5. So they believe Jason Tatum is a full 8 times more likely to go to the basket. The disrespect is real for Jaylen Brown.
Humbly, one of the best basketball players in the world.
I actually think both of these should be rounded up by like at least 40%. I think Jason Tatum basically has a 95% chance to make the Hall of Fame. And I think at this point, Jaylen Brown is probably close to 50-50. If he goes and wins a title down in Philly, or at least just has a good year down in Philly and fits in well with LeBron and Mackey and all them, like if that happens, his chance. But can you believe that? That feels a little bit disrespect. You know who's right behind him? Domantas Sabonis, 7.6%.
Yeah.
George liked that.
I like Sabonis, though.
His dad's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I just, this is, in case you were wondering, if you go all the way to the bottom, they think Mikal Bridges has a 0.25% chance to go to the Hall of Fame.
He'll always have that championship ring, though.
Brooke Lopez, 0.34% chance to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't know what that calculation is, because it just seems as though if you are an All-Star in the NBA, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think they let anybody in. I agree. Like, if you have a decent run, score some points, go to the All-Star game, and I don't think championships matter as much. I think, like in football, being on a Super Bowl team really elevates your chances of getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In the NBA, I don't think it's more personal numbers and recognition.
This might actually be the first Basketball Hall of Fame radio discussion in the history of the medium, because there's never really debate.
There's no debate. They all go in. If you're decent, you all go in. So hopefully that holds true. So hopefully someday maybe Tatum and Brown can go in together. Wouldn't that make for a hell of an induction ceremony out in Springfield?
And Brad Stevens can do the speech, the welcoming speech.
Joe Mazzulla can be there rolling around on the floor. I was actually thinking earlier, see he was at Patriots practice today?
Yeah, I bet he checked out the violence area.
Exactly what I was thinking.
He heard that in the news, and he's like, I'm going.
Hey, Mike, one last thing. Can we check out the violence room? I'm really into violence, you know.
I bet he was a little disappointed with the lack of hand-to-hand combat going on in there.
I'm guessing when he saw violence room, he thought something that is above and beyond what they consider a violence room.
Not safe, the things he wanted to do.
Yes. No.
Start transitioning into the darkness.
He had like a saw room type thing in his mind, and he's like, these are just some pads and dummies up here.
Yeah.
This isn't really what I had in mind, Michael.
False advertising.
A little disappointed. All right, that's going to do it for a Saturday afternoon. Big news of the day. Christian Gonzalez is on the clock. That's what everybody tells me, because Devin Witherspoon has $100 million guaranteed, $33 million a year. So we now have the parameters upon which the Patriots and Gonzalez should be able to build a contract moving forward. Red Sox back at it tonight. Sonny Gray, can you go out there and maybe get a win? It's just the Pirates. Don't let them shoot off all those fireworks again. How about we not lose 7 of 8? Let's stop the losing streak. Don't be so streaky. Start a winning streak here. And I'm looking forward to this week, Michael, because not only am I on Monday and Tuesday, Toucher and Hardy.
Oh, yeah?
That I'm actually not looking forward to as much, just because of the 3:45 alarm.
We had the energy drink conversation off there. Maybe you load up this week. Get a crate down at the store.
There is absolutely a chance I need those energy drinks. But Eagles come to town. Joint practices in advance of next Saturday. Patriots-Eagles at Gillette. And I believe we will be on the air sort of as the pregame to the pregame show.
The pre-pregame show. That's what they're calling it. They're probably going to send out some marketing materials.
Yeah, posters and stuff, some visuals. And I think we'll be talking about, I know we're not supposed to root for fights in sports, but I would not be disappointed if there was some A.J. Brown-related scuffle down at joint practices on Wednesday and Thursday at Gillette Stadium. I'll be there. You going to be there?
We'll see. You talk about...
That's a no. Did you hear that,
we'll
George?
see.
That
You
was a
never know.
no.
You talk about...
I'll meet you there.
You talk about coaches and violence with Missoula. Wouldn't mind if A.J. Brown and his former head coach had a little bit of a showdown, because that guy is a dork.
He is an absolute dink, and I would love to see A.J. Brown just, boom, pounding him on the sideline. But that's going to do it. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful weekend. Michael Hurley, enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Sorry you had to waste with me. George, nice job behind the glass, and we will talk to you next Saturday here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, Hart and Hurley.